Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of More Than Amazing. Some people voiced concerns the last time that I was doing this too often and I should work on videos. There is a video being worked on as we speak. Well, not presently as we speak because I'm doing this. But a script is done and it has been narrated. I'm currently in the process of editing it, and it will be coming out either at the end of this week or beginning of next week. I'm joined today by my good friend Pretzel, who's also a patron.
Hello.
He has joined me for the past few streams, and a lot of people said he should come back, so here he is again. Yeah. As you can tell by the title of the stream, we're talking about consumerism, but we actually got a lot of different questions, including some about Igor and music in general, so we're going to get to those eventually. But, yeah, I guess we could... do you want to go, chronologically with the list we have, or do you just want to, start out with consumerism, or what do you want to do?
We can do chronological first.
Okay.
We'll just do that.
Okay.
Because then the thicker stuff is at the end.
Right. So we'll be addressing music closer to the end, then, because that's where we have it placed. So, the first question we got was, how is research done before each video? What is your process to maximize your data and make sure your data is correct? This will be a question for Pretzel, too, since he also has a YouTube channel. Do you want to link it in the chat, actually? And then I'll copy it to, the description.
You're so nice to me.
I mean, hey, you're a guest. It's the least I could do.
There you go.
All right, I'll paste that.
Thank you, my duder.
All right. So, I mean, for me, the research process is really a larger part of how I actually, I don't even know, write the script in general. So I think of topics, and then I ultimately have a very broad topic which has multiple different aspects, and I ultimately then narrow that down. So for this video, like the one I'm working on right now, I knew I wanted to talk about something that deals with pop music in some way. So I just went through a bunch of songs over the past 20 years that were pop-related until eventually I found something salient enough to turn into its own distinct video. And I'm not going to reveal what it is because I kind of want it to be a surprise, but that's how it works. So the research there was also part of idea development, and then idea development was also a part of research. Insofar as, I guess, making it correct is concerned, I mean, I try not to use any less than reputable websites. I'm certainly not going to be using The Onion or InfoWars or something. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that, Pretzel?
Well, I don't have a hard topic ever. Usually I'll ask my friends what they want me to talk about, or I'll just ask people what they think should be talked about, or I'll see an interesting article in the what is it called? I only know the acronym NBER. National Bureau of Economic Research. I'll see an interesting article there and I want to talk about it, or Cato puts out something, and usually from there I'll just form a hypothesis from one piece or one document and sort of go about trying to prove and disprove it and see which way it goes.
Yeah, I mean, I've wanted to try going about videos like that, but I mean, I'm just not the type of person to read journals. I should, but I mean, you're more into economics than I am, so I don't know.
Yeah.
What journal would I even look into,
Yeah, I mean, there's NBER, there's... I mean, you can just look at because we're both university students, so you have access to JSTOR.
Yeah, I was gonna say I could look through JSTOR easily, or what's
JSTOR?
There's another big one that I can't think of right now.
I mean, there's a ton of them. If you just go to your library website, generally they'll have a database that you can. It's sort of a collection of all of the resources, and even physical ones that you can go look at in the library, which I've done before for an earlier video. But
yeah, that's a good point, actually. My library at my university has this really interesting ancient books collection, but I've never actually looked at it, even though it probably would be interesting to I don't know, bring up in some kind of design-based video, but I've just never...
Microfilm's another one, too.
Yeah, there's microfilm in the basement,
probably have a microfilm lab.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of shit like that. A lot of libraries are now digitized, too, so, my school has a lot of ebooks that you can download 60 pages at a time.
Right. And actually, there's actually something called like a free library in most states. There's one in my state, and you can sign up for it. Like you don't even need a credit card or anything. You just need to prove that you're a resident in the state. And you can get access to a bunch of databases, not JSTOR or anything like professional, but stuff that's
Right.
similar.
Yeah.
Like you can get access to government archives and whatnot.
Or you can just like get a fucking library card.
Or that if you want to pay.
That's some shit you gotta. I mean, it's like $15, and it's
Right.
like you get access to like stupid amounts of information for free, essentially. Like
Yeah, but
it
I
doesn't
mean,
really expire.
I guess if you're a kid and you have no place else to go and you don't want to ask your parents or anything, I guess you could just get a free library card.
Yeah, go to a library.
It do be that way. Or I mean, you could torrent some ebooks or something like that, or just use straight up Wikipedia if you really want to.
I mean, yeah, you can go on Wikipedia and just do shit. That's what a lot of people do. So
Right. I think people often discount Wikipedia too. Like, actually, most of my research just starts on Wikipedia, just because it's
Yeah,
right
same.
there on the first page of Google.
or if it's like I don't understand a concept, like I don't know, if I'm reading something and
Right.
they talk about I don't know, like allocative efficiency or whatever, and I don't feel like dragging out the old econ textbook, you can go to Wikipedia and get a quick 5-second definition, look at a chart and be like, oh, okay, that's right.
Right. Right.
Wikipedia's dope.
Absolutely. And the thing I hate about it, though, is like there's this entire group of people that runs it that make sure everything is correct, everything is right, and yet teachers, especially at university too, they just don't accept it. And I have no idea why. It's infuriating to me.
I mean, I kind of get it. Like some articles are better than others, especially if they're locked articles.
Right.
Those are usually good ones. Or like, I mean, I've made my fair share of edits to Wikipedia.
Mm-hmm. But like, I've made edits too, and within a day they got deleted because I didn't cite
people
any
are
sources.
people are really fucking anal about like they're really protective of their articles, I find.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I mean, even then, like I would always find a way to get around it by using like the sources that people would then cite. So then, like if somebody quoted one of the sources on Wikipedia, I would just copy the quote from Wikipedia, paste it into my essay, and then just cite in my bibliography whatever they used in the Wikipedia source.
Yeah, you can do that. Like that's like a pretty classic trick to do.
Yeah.
But I mean, on YouTube, it doesn't really fucking matter because it's not like anyone actually puts, their sources in the description, barring like a few people.
Right. But I mean,
I try to do it as much as possible, but it's not like anyone's gonna go, cross-reference the database that I accessed. So
I have noticed though that like there are some like people that are extremely critical of the way other people do research. Like when the Gamer from Mars was still big, do you know who he was?
I have no idea who that is.
He was, I mean, I think he's still kind of relevant, but he used to make these like documentaries about YouTubers and other like internet events, and he would essentially just use a Wikipedia article, and people eventually caught on and like made a jerk out of him for it. And I think, who was it? Austin McConnell copied some things directly from Mental Floss, and actually I was the only one who noticed that, but yeah, I think other people did begin to catch on then.
I mean, I see that shit all the time. Well,
Yeah.
I do it all the time too. Is like if you look at the documents that I sort of link in my description of my videos, you'll find me quoting like large blocks of text, and usually I'll put it on screen that I'm quoting it or whatever. Like I'll put like I'll highlight what I'm reading on screen and put like a page number and an author name. Like I'll try to do that as much as possible, but it's like certain things that like. I mean, it's just about relaying information. So, like, I don't really hold an opinion on some of the things I talk about. I just want to inform people about what I'm talking about.
Right.
So it's like, I'll just quote essentially what they're saying or summarize what they're saying in the article, because that way I don't come off like a know-it-all schmuck while still providing information like in a digestible way that you don't need to be
Right.
someone super well-versed in like labor economics to understand.
Yeah. I like the way Academy of Ideas cites his sources. Like he does it almost exactly like that. Like he gives a summary and then he'll like give a quote that hits home really hard. He'll show it on screen and then like show the author and then the book it came from. I think it's a really nice format.
Yeah, I try to do that too, just because it makes me look better. It makes me look smart as fuck.
I mean,
look
yeah.
big-brained.
You read JSTOR articles? Jesus. We got a player out here.
You know it. And that way too, like that just fills some fucking void space because there's just like blocks of time that you have no like possible like thing to put on screen.
Oh yeah.
Which I struggle with sometimes. So like
Same here.
I'll just throw up what I'm talking about on screen, like just block quote it or whatever and highlight it as I'm speaking. That way it's kind of a cheap way to fill up screen space. But
Yeah. That's something I actually really hate about making videos is I'll be talking about things that are so abstract and out there, like, but they're still, like, really pertinent to the research that I have no way at all to just, and I have to kind of BS something, and I guess people don't really notice because I do an all right job at it, but, like, it sucks sometimes.
yeah.
Well, I suppose we've exhausted that topic. Next topic. Are schools really preparing kids for the future? I mean, I guess that's still kind of relevant to what we were talking about since we both do a lot of independent research.
I think you could split this into, like, elementary school, sort of middle and high school, and then, post-secondary education or secondary education.
Okay.
Because I feel like elementary school is... I mean, I don't remember learning a whole lot in elementary school.
Yeah,
I feel like it's a lot of, like, it's just teaching you how to learn, right?
I remember we did phonics, and other kids struggled with it, and I don't know, maybe I was just really good at phonics, but it was the easiest thing in the world. I have no idea why it was even taught to us, like, that the idea that pH equals an F sound. Like, if you've seen one pH word, you know it makes an F sound. I don't know why that's got to be taught.
I would say, like, I don't know. I really couldn't think of it. You went to a public elementary school, or did you go to?
No, I went to public for, like, I want to say 3 or 4 years, and then in second grade I went to private.
Yeah, I've been in private school my whole life, so.
But actually, no.
The way I was learned is a little bit different.
For the first 2 years, I actually went to a Montessori, so that was actually entirely different from both public and private.
Right.
Yeah, I don't even remember learning much at Montessori either. Do you know what a Montessori is?
It's just
have you heard the term before?
Yeah, I've heard the term, and they're controversial, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Because they were only, like, the idea of them was only developed in the 60s.
Okay. So it's like...
I would get this, like, plate of, like, objects. It was kind of like a do-it-yourself kind of school type thing, but you would do it with other students. So you'd have these cubbies, right? And you'd get these kind of sheets, like, I don't know if you ever had breakfast in bed, like, you'd have a place for everything in the breakfast in bed, but, like, you'd have a place for every different subject, and there'd be, like, these little, I don't know, like, toys, I guess, but that were still educational in some way, and you would play with them, and the teacher would be using them to teach you and all the other students in groups, and you would sometimes be doing that, sometimes you'd be doing independent work, too. It's kind of an odd way to teach, I don't know. I
haven't said in chat smart boards.
Yeah, I saw that too. We should definitely.
All my shit. Like, elementary school for me was like, they just taught you, like, for me, it was like teaching you how to think, and they fucking, like, right versus wrong, and, like, their big thing was, like, make the right choice, and, like, the most vague sort of tone of voice possible. Like, if you were about to do some fucked up shit, they'd be like, make the right choice, Quinn. And I'd be like, kind of looking at them like, do they not want me to do it? Or are they, like, approving of my action?
Oh my god. Yeah, no,
so like even if you were about to do something positive, they'd say make the right choice. I don't know if it's like like a subconscious type, like.
We had something similar in junior high, because I went to a Christian school, so we had this thing called theology of the body, and they didn't say explicitly practice chastity, but it was heavily implied that if you don't, you're committing an egregious sin that you may go to hell for. They didn't say.
So they're teaching elementary schools to be shast.
Pretty much.
That's really fucked up. I went to such an. That was actually an interesting thing that I just remembered. Is like I went to a private school, but it was non-religious, which I guess is kind of a rarity.
Oh, really?
Especially in the South.
It was like a charter school.
So, kind of, but it was like when holidays came around, like we did all of them. Like, so we did Hanukkah and Christmas, and we learned all about them, and then we learned about, like, Eid and shit like that.
Did you do Kwanzaa?
I don't know. Yeah, ironically, yeah, we did do Kwanzaa. I didn't count Kwanzaa, because Kwanzaa's not a real holiday. Kwanzaa isn't real.
I mean, it is. It isn't it?
It's real, but it's not.
Yeah, it has no cultural context.
Yeah, so.
But, yeah, that really took a turn. But anyway, I guess, but did you feel like the private school helped you prepare for high school in any way?
Well, I moved at like a pretty important time, like fourth grade, like right before you prepare for middle school.
Right.
So like I went to a new school that was really shitty in the fourth grade, and that was like really Christian
Mm.
and like really like it was very similar to like the stereotypical Catholic school you'd see in like an old movie, you know,
Yeah.
like nuns and shit.
Yeah, like
So
Sister
like
Act.
yeah, that shit wasn't cash, but and then I transferred out of that one, and my fifth grade class was like it was like way less focused on like making the right choices and like um, sort of like teaching you how to learn and shit like that. And it was way just more like, here, learn how to do this. And so that was like, I didn't do great my fifth grade year because of that. Like,
Hmm.
I went from like, let's learn how to do this in a couple different ways. Let's learn how to teach ourselves how to do things. And then suddenly it was like,
Yeah, that is
all right,
that is not how my middle school experience was at all. I mean, it. I don't want to say it was like high school because it wasn't, but like the way the topics were laid out, I think was almost identical to the way my high school was. Like for 45 minutes, we do one topic, spelling,
yeah.
then we do reading, then we do math, then we do science, etc. All taught by the same teacher until sixth grade when we change classes, similar to high
Yeah,
school.
same way.
But there was no emphasis on any higher critical thinking abilities. It was mostly just rote memorization in my memory.
Mine was very focused on like critical thinking abilities up until like the fifth or sixth grade. So I don't know. Maybe that just makes me big brained.
I guess. I mean, well, we did have a logic class in high school, but that was only in my 12th grade year, and it became an elective afterwards because we didn't really have anyone too qualified to teach it.
Yeah. I was big brained as fuck in the fifth grade, dude. I wanted to be like a nuclear physicist. And then I realized I was
Jesus.
shit at math. And then like that shit went out the fucking window.
I was actually pretty good at math in high school. I mean, in middle school. I actually really hated reading at the time. It was only in high school, like, that really reversed. Because I always hated how ambiguous reading was, especially like when we had to take the standardized tests that the government made us take. You have to do those in public school? I think you do.
Yeah, Florida has the FCAT, and there's like
Don't say
then
what
it's like-
state I'm from.
I won't.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Yeah, but
Whoa, don't worry.
okay. Yeah. But yeah, we had to do those too. And I hated like not the word associations, but like when you had like I remember there was one word that tripped me up when I got it because it was like the word was romp and we had to figure out what like words it was similar to. And they were all like playful or happiness or just stuff that could all be considered generally associated with it, but nothing that was like completely
like-
a synonym.
So it was like PSAT style shit, like
Yeah,
but like for
yeah.
middle schoolers and
Mhm.
fifth graders. Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. But I
yeah,
mean,
that's yeah.
I mean, I guess in that way, like that kind of stuff prepared me to take the SATs. But like, I don't know. None of my other schooling really prepared me for that, and even then, the SATs didn't really prepare me for college. Like, I had to relearn like huge chunks of geometry for the SATs that, as a finance student, I'm never going to use. I don't know. Learning geometry in high school also I thought was kind of useless. Like I'm glad I know what a formal proof is, but I'm never gonna need to prove, the SAS theorem for triangles. Like that is irrelevant.
Yeah. Do you have to learn languages in your like middle school?
Yeah, we did Spanish. Like we had these VHS tapes, of, like this woman who would like, play with puppets and shit.
Really?
Yeah. It was at the end of the day.
I had a choice. I had English, or sorry, not English. I'm fucking retarded. Excuse me. I had Spanish or French.
No, everybody did Spanish
You did Spanish?
in middle school.
Yeah.
In high school, you could choose.
Yeah, what options did you have in high school? Because I still only had Spanish and French.
We had Spanish, French, and German. Yeah, we had German. And then if you wanted to, you could elect to take a language course online. I know two of my Asian friends did that. They both took Chinese. So you could do that too if you wanted to. I took
I'm
Spanish.
gonna send my kids. I'm sending my kids to a dual lingual school if I fucking have kids. 100%.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Those motherfuckers are gonna learn a language, whether they like it or not.
yeah, I don't want to say it's the future, but it really is the future. I think if you don't know multiple languages, it is really a detriment. So I guess in that respect, schools are preparing students pretty well for that. Though not the best, because like if you go anywhere in
I know.
Europe, everybody speaks English.
Yeah, I have I have like my high school, like I went to the same high school, middle school, and 5th grade,
Hmm.
and like middle school was good, and then like high school they kind of dropped the fucking ball. Like for some reason all these teachers started quitting, and I think the school was running out of money or something like that, because all the good teachers started quitting, or maybe they weren't paying them enough, or they were, because they were really trying to focus, and now they're doing it now, and it's hard to explain if you don't know the situation, but like they were dropping people who were qualified to teach and picking up people with practical experience in the fields they were teaching, which is
Mm.
like, it sounds like a good idea. Like you want to teach kids in a hands-on way.
Right.
The only problem is it's a bunch of fucking kids. Like you really think, like now if like you brought in some of the people that taught me, I'd probably sit there and listen to them and be fascinated by what they're saying.
Mm.
But like a fucking ninth grade pretzel doesn't give a fuck that this guy's a chemical engineer at DuPont. I'm not gonna listen to him teach me chemistry. I'd rather play Clash of Clans on my phone.
Yeah.
Like that's I need a teacher who teaches. I don't need a chemical engineer.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that was one good thing about my high school is that all the teachers really made the attempt to teach. Like I remember, especially when I took Algebra 2 and pre-calculus, I honestly the teacher I had for those classes was the best I ever had. She taught both because she would always go exactly through each problem that would appear in the tests, and she would also go through like the way it appeared in word problems or in the context of other different types of complex problems. So like it was very step by step and methodical, so we always knew what was going on, and then we had examples to study from too. So I really enjoyed that. My calculus class this year actually was pretty similar, but I mean econ last semester was not like that at all. So I didn't really enjoy that much, but I don't know. For whatever that's worth.
I took econ all online.
Really?
That's what yeah.
What, in high school?
No, sorry, in college.
Oh.
I've taken all of my econ classes online. I mean, my teacher is like, he worked at the Federal Reserve, and now he just lives in Miami and chills out and teaches classes online, distance. Like,
That's awesome.
so even my final exam was online.
Was it
It's
like
dope.
still through your college or?
Yeah.
Because I
It
know
was
like
a course offered by
Coursera
them.
does stuff like that, but that's independent.
Yeah, no, I got credit for it and shit like that. So
Oh, awesome.
yeah, it's dope.
Yeah, I know you can do stuff like that at my university too, but I don't know too many people that actually do it.
Yeah, a lot of people don't. I love online classes because I'm a pretty like self-motivating person. So I
Mhm.
really enjoy like sitting down and doing a couple hours of work and then maybe taking the next day off or whatever. Like I enjoy, like, I don't like having to go to class. Like I really dislike it. So I literally, like, this semester, the semester that just ended, I had like 2 in-person classes, and the next semester I also only have 2 in-person classes, just because
Really?
I fucking hate it. Like I like going to office hours and I do that regularly, and I go to the the test reviews or whatever in person, but like I just fucking hate having to get up at a certain time and drive to fucking school. I guess my apartment is now closer, so I walk, but
Right. Well, I guess that's
I
different for you
fucking hate
then,
that.
because like I live on campus when I am on
Yeah.
campus, so like it's really just like a 5 minute walk for me, and that's not an issue. The only thing I guess I kind of do dislike is when there's a bunch of tryhards in a class. Like my manager, God bless the professors of those classes, great guys. I enjoyed both of them. Went to their office hours, plenty.
Yeah.
But oh my God, the people in those classes, some of them were
Well,
just
oh, like management classes?
yeah, like they would just give the most basic information. Like they would like say in marketing, someone would be like, I don't know, there was like a question we were discussing like pairing chips and dip or something like that. So like we were asked, if you are gonna get chips, what kind of product would you pair it with? And some people were like, nobody really said dip at first. People said some other things until finally somebody eventually said dip. It's like, was that like not obvious? I don't know.
I guess not.
And then in my management class, the reverse would often be true, where like everybody would give some variation of the same exact answer, because you know how you can only, I don't want to say you can only manage a person so many ways, but like there are only so many ways to like talk about how to handle groups of people.
Yeah.
So people would give these just like long drawn out answers. Like a question would be like, how do you handle a group of 5 who's trying to come to a consensus? And then somebody would just rattle off like, well, first you need to establish certain guidelines for how certain people should relate. You need to establish that there has to be norms of conduct, or blah, 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 blah. And it would be like the same answer every single time.
Because all their parents are business people, and they don't
Right.
understand how upper management works.
Right.
Because when you're upper management, you fucking decide these things for people. You ask 5 people and you do what you want anyway. That's
Right.
what upper management is.
Yeah, you have the executive power to make the decision
Yeah,
you need
exactly.
to. Yeah.
You ask these people, what do you think about this? Well, I like this idea. Well, fuck you. I'm going to the next guy until he tells me what I want. Like, that's
Mhm.
just how upper management works.
It kind of was interesting though, like in my liberal arts classes, because I have a liberal arts degree too.
Yeah.
It, it's similar and yet different in that like I enjoy reading the literature we're given for like the sake of coming to an understanding not only of the literature but of like the context and how it still relates today and how to read and write and understand different forms of literature, stuff like that. But then when we get to analysis, I mean, I don't know. People would. I remember there was one comment that was made about Euripides' works, right?
Yeah.
One of the girls was like, "Oh my God, we're talking about justice again. The Greeks were so obsessed with justice." It's like, yeah, yeah, they were. It's kind of important.
Why does Confucius care so much about society?
Yeah, like I don't know, man, because like society matters. Oh man,
Bro, we really do live in a society, don't we?
bro, we do. We really do. But in that way, I think a liberal arts curriculum like that is at least exposing people to those ideas, even if they may not have seen them before. That even if there is that gut reaction of like, why is there so much justice? It's like, well, now you know because justice is important. So I guess that's pretty good. Any other?
Shall we move on? I was about to say I don't really have anything else. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's good. Somebody else asked, can you tell us which philosophers or really people in general your worldview and beliefs are most inspired by? Really love the live streams, by the way. Do you want to go first? Or do you want me to go?
Yeah, I'll go because mine's pretty quick. I'm not like a philosopher. So what did I say before?
XD.
Camus,
Yeah.
XD, bruh moment. Like I live my life as one bruh moment after another. So I'm more of a Camus man, or like a, like an absurdist. Nietzsche,
Right.
Yeah, people who inspire me. Borat.
Borat. You Sacha Baron
fuck.
Cohen?
Not Sacha Baron Cohen as a person, just Borat, the character.
Jesus.
Fuck. Like, I don't know. I try to hold myself in high esteem. I don't really, it's kind of a loaded question. Belief wise, I don't know. Angela Merkel, she's my queen. Emmanuel Macron, my king. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't really got anyone else.
Why Macron? Like, why him? What about him?
Marine Le Pen is a dumb bitch, and
okay, but like
Penchant or whatever his name is a communist.
Yes. Come on.
What,
he likes
Penchant?
holograms, bro.
What? Macron or the other guy?
The P guy.
Well, Macron's like a technocrat. Like,
okay, he's also a banker. The other guy's a communist
So?
and he likes holograms. Like,
France is going for the gay luxury space communism meme.
it's about time. No, but I guess for me then, I've actually never read Camus, so I can't say for sure whether I'm inspired by him. I may be, and I just don't know. I like Nietzsche's works, but he's kind of a meme. I mean, I was looking through one of his books the other day, and one of his like, he writes in like aphorisms, right? Like really short sentences.
Yeah.
One of them was like, I am constantly inspired by the fact that at any given moment I can commit suicide. Like, yeah, nice. Can't wait to read more of that as I get older. I guess I like a lot of the ancient Greeks. I mean, Plato and Aristotle, of course, that goes without saying. I mean, their contributions to Western thought are invaluable. Augustine has some good ideas too, and I like him for his explication of the Bible. Thomas Aquinas too has a lot of, I don't want to say formalizations of Aristotle, but simplifications, I guess would be a good word.
Yeah.
I mean, Duns Scotus for what's it called? Occam's razor. Occam didn't actually create it. Duns Scotus did. And just the idea that like, if you have to make more assumptions to get to something, it's probably wrong. So like the simplest answer is usually the right one. I think that's a good idea to live by, and we wouldn't have it without him. Mm, nobody from the Middle Ages, really. I mean, I guess Da Vinci, in the sense that, like, he's a cool guy and he did a lot of stuff. I think that's inspiring. Um, and also, he was, like, at the forefront of a lot of the disciplines he practiced, so that's pretty cool. Um, some of the founding fathers, I think, are absolutely important. Thomas Jefferson is one of my favorite politicians of the period. James Madison too, since they both came together to found the Democratic Party of the time. I think I actually read a book about Jefferson a while back, and I like him especially because of his idealism. He
Yeah.
was actually a lawyer, and when he was still, like, in the beginning of his practice, he brought up, like, oh my God, what was it? Like Locke's idea of the autonomy of the individual in, like, a court case in, manerial America, where it, like, had no relevance whatsoever. And so of course he lost the case, but I admire him for that kind of grit.
Yeah.
And the Louisiana Purchase too. I guess philosophers then: Marx, of course, Hegel, Kant. The German guys. You love them or you hate them. I love them. And
Can't
again,
stand them.
damn, that's crazy.
Well, I mean, I have to like study them, so that like completely takes away my enjoyment out of anything that I do.
Man, that's part of the fun, is, like, growing as a person and, looking at stuff
Yeah, but
differently as you read.
I gotta study them in German.
Oh.
So, like,
Oh.
you
Yeah.
gotta like.
No.
That's not fun.
Sorry, that's canceled. No.
Yeah, I gotta read Faust. That's gonna be
Oh God.
It's gonna be a good meme.
That's a good point though. Goethe's a good guy. I like him. Because he did a lot of different stuff, and I think that's admirable too, in a similar way to Da Vinci.
Yeah.
Nietzsche again. George Sorel is interesting because of the way he kind of transformed Marxism into a more right-wing ideology, but still something which is distinctly class-conscious.
Yeah.
Freud is cool.
Ayn Rand.
No, Ayn Rand, please. Please. Don't make me laugh. Max Weber's good. Durkheim's good. I guess, like, in terms of my worldview, though, a lot of my ideas come from Dale Carnegie and then the guy who wrote The Magic of Thinking Big. They're like two big self-help classics, and I actually am close to finishing the second one. I only have one more chapter to read. I got to do that. But there's a lot of good ideas in there, like regarding how you should look at things, how you should manage yourself, how you should relate to other people, the type of person you want other people to see. So I guess I live my life by those types of principles. And Eckhart Tolle is extremely underrated. Do you know who he is?
Eckhart Tolle.
Yeah.
Completely sounds unfamiliar to me.
He's like, I forget if he's German or Swedish. I don't remember. But like,
is he alive now?
Yeah, he's like a neo-Buddhist.
Yeah, he's German. He's German. Yeah, I know who you're talking about now. I'm thinking like 1600s, 1700s.
Nah, that's Meister Eckhart you're thinking of.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a mystic. I haven't read any of his works though. But yeah, he's like a pseudo-Buddhist type, and I like some of his ideas about being now in the present and just living your life for the moment and not being like anxiously concerned with a bunch of other stuff that doesn't really matter. Yeah, I guess those would be the major guys. I mean, I guess Lao Tzu is good too. Like,
yeah,
for some mystical stuff, and some of the Buddhist
Confucius
works are good too. Yeah, I mean, I haven't read Confucius, but like filial piety
Really?
is cool, I guess. I mean, yeah, I should, but I've just never done it.
Yeah. I thought you'd be a what's it called? Studying antiquity type of guy.
I am, but I just haven't gotten to it yet.
But not like nobody really studies like East antiquity.
Well, I've read the Tao Te Ching. I just said Lao Tzu.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I just
I'm
haven't.
not trashing you.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
No, I just haven't gotten to it yet. Like, I want to
Yeah.
go through the Pali Canon, and I want to go through the Vedas and the Upanishads, and some of the works of the Jains, and some other people.
Cool.
Yeah.
I have to take a pee break.
All right.
I'll be back.
Okay. I'll talk to the chat while he is gone. Let's see. What are you guys talking about in the chat here? Ooh, John Baudrillard. I fucked that up, but I like the idea that Baudrillard presents about simulations and simulacra. I mean, what I fundamentally have an issue with in terms of his thought is like he's so pessimistic. He is unbelievably pessimistic. And Marx is too, and I think this is why you can't really read either him or Marx too strictly. Because if you do, you're just going to end up being depressed. I mean, Baudrillard's idea that we're just living in this semio-capitalistic signified structure is, on the one hand, it makes a lot of sense for a lot of things in that, I guess Starbucks selling pumpkin spice lattes when pumpkins aren't really grown is kind of weird and outlandish and, doesn't really refer to anything that's real. But at the same time, like, what are you going to do about that? Is it really hurting people that badly? No, not really. I mean, should we do something about it? Maybe. I don't know.
Moin moin, I've returned.
Hey, you missed some good bants about Jean Baudrillard.
Who?
Jean Baudrillard. John Baudrillard.
Oh.
He's he's like a post-Marxist type guy, French
Gross.
theorist, contemporary of like Foucault and
Ew, French.
Derrida,
Ugh,
I think.
contemporary Foucault. Ugh.
Come on. Derrida reinvented literary theory. Okay, we're getting a bit far off this topic now.
I was about to say, yeah.
Yeah, it's getting a bit too abstruse. Do you have a different job as well as YouTube, or what did you have before it was your full time, or what is your plan B instead of YouTube? I guess I'll go first for this one since you went first for the last one. Or, I mean, I spoke a lot. Do you want to go first again?
No, go ahead.
Okay. I mean, I'm studying finance and liberal arts right now in university. So, like, that's my primary goal, I guess. I don't know. I had a discussion with this or about this with some family members earlier today that I don't really know what I want to do, that I don't know if like finance is something I really and truly want to pursue, and I have no idea. I really have no clue. If I had the guts, I would do YouTube full time, but I don't want to be negative or anything, but like, my user engagement has diminished substantially over the past year because I'm in college. I used to get up to like 300 views in these streams. Now I'm not even breaking 100. Hopefully that changes. I mean, as I do stuff more, but it really looks like things are dwindling a little bit, and I don't know how long this is gonna last.
Yeah. I guess. I mean, I obviously I do have a job other than YouTube. And I'm a full-time student during the year. Study German language and finance. My job is very boring. I sit at a desk for 8 to 12 hours a day, depending on the day. Clean up some stuff, sign people in. I do a lot of writing and a lot of researching during that time. Yeah.
People are saying here, post more content. I'm posting more content to my second channel. I'm actually trying to do daily type uploads there, but like, I don't know. It's very hard for me to not hold myself to a high standard on this channel because I feel like I've done it so frequently. I don't feel comfortable posting anything less than what I've already done, and what I've already done takes time.
Right.
I don't know. It's kind of like a rabbit hole I've kind of tucked myself into and kind of suffocated myself in. But what am I going to do? If I put out content that's worse than my current content, I am going to lose followers, and I'm not going to get the engagement I'm looking for.
I get that.
Yeah. I don't know. My second channel's in the description. If you look, it's in the description of every video, as a matter of fact. So go to any video, and it is there. For your leisure.
For your leisure.
Yeah. So, I mean, that question is kind of simple, so we'll just go on to the next one. Consumerism culture, what it means to live in it, pros and cons, the art movements it has inspired, such as Vaporwave and works by Barbara Kruger and Andy Warhol. You can go first for this one.
So, I guess like a big con is like, I don't know. I don't want to like go into like something super pretentious, but like the reduction of like some of the most basic human needs, like water as a consumer good. It's sort of my I have a big problem with things like that. Like I don't have a problem with hyper consumerism per se, but I mean there's certain things that like are inherently toxic about consumerist culture, like
Oh, absolutely.
housing prices. Like I mean the whole idea that buying a house is an investment,
Hmm.
like it holds value, is like, I'm not saying it shouldn't, but like that's why housing is so expensive, is because it's seen as something that can only appreciate in value. When you buy a house 10 years down the line, you sell it for more money.
Right.
Houses only appreciate in value. No one sells their house for under what they bought it for.
Mm-hmm.
And go ahead, sorry.
I was gonna say, I think at the same time, it's important to realize that that is not a modern problem. Like,
Yeah.
whenever I think about this, excuse me. Oh shoot, I had to burp just there. God. I always think about like 300, 400 years ago, indigo was incredibly expensive because it was seen as something the royalty would have in their clothing. It was symbolic of power, and so it was expensive purely because it was symbolic. It wasn't really hard to get. I mean, it kind of was because you could only grow it in the Carolinas and similar tropical temperatures, but like it was still pretty expensive because of that fact alone. I mean, that's not what again, to go back to Baudrillard, that's not this kind of sign value that he would speak of in his writings, where things have value in late capitalism simply because of what they signify. Like that is just perhaps it's heightened under capitalism, and I believe that, but it's not unique to capitalism, and so it's not unique to modern day quote unquote consumer culture.
Sorry, I'm typing to someone in chat.
That's fine. I'll just keep talking. But what I do think is unique to capitalism is, like I just said, the extent to which people are engaged in this kind of sign value commodity purchase. Like, I saw a video online on YouTube the other day. It was like, why do people like Supreme so much? And I thought, I mean, is it not obvious? Because everybody else likes Supreme.
Yeah.
Like, do people not realize that that is really just the only reason why, that it really just is expensive because people think it should be? I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with that. Gone are the days of like you buy a product that is like, $1,200 because it's worth, particularly with clothing.
Right.
You buy a product that's $1,200 because it's worth $1,200, because everyone knows that manufacturing, even with the highest quality materials, is maybe at most $10 a unit for clothing.
Mm-hmm.
And so you got to mark that shit up. Not saying that it's like immoral or whatever, but it's like the only reason that Supreme T-shirt isn't $5 in a bag at Target in a Hanes bag, is because it has the Supreme logo on it.
Right. And the same goes for, I think you would call this like a Veblen good. Are you familiar with that term?
Veblen good?
Yeah, Veblen good. Like, as it, I forget how it's like the reverse of a standard good, where like the more people buy it, price goes down, whereas for Veblen good, the more people buy it, the price goes up. So like, you see that right now with like vinyls. Like, they become more expensive in recent years because more people are buying them because they're a specialty good. And that is, I mean, that's completely a product of modern capitalist consumer culture. That is literally not something which could have existed in feudalism, simply because there weren't enough cultural signifiers to let people know, A, a record represents a past cultural form dealing with music, and that B, the types of music you're going to be buying on that record are also from the past, and that they're, they have these monumental cultural significances like the Beatles and Fleetwood Mac. I gotta have that on vinyl. Oh, it's 25th year edition. Oh my god. It's like you don't. It's I don't see the point. But like, if you want it, go off, I guess.
Go off, King.
Yeah, like whatever. I mean, what can you do?
Yeah.
And I think that's the ultimate point. I think, for me, that's to be made about these kinds of things, is like, I'm firmly against them. I have to say, but how do you stop somebody from wanting to get something like that? Whether it is clothing or whether it is a record, like, fundamentally people are just operating within the way culture exists, both at the the owner level
Yeah.
and the consumer level. Like, how do you change that? I guess policy maybe, but is that too interventionist then? I don't know.
I'm not a cultural interventionist. I like I I mm, in the least pretentious way possible. I like to rephrase my statements with that so I don't sound pretentious, but I don't concern myself with issues that can't be sort of proved with data or some form of tangible evidence that can be demonstrated.
Right.
So like a good example of this is like the issue of culture when it comes up as far as like immigration is concerned or something like that. Where people are like, oh, it hurts the culture of the nation. It's like, well, I don't really give a fuck about the culture of the nation.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I do not give a shit. I don't give a shit about things that you can't see and you can't look at and you can't like because there's no objective way to measure
Right.
culture. There's no like
I think,
there's no
well,
way.
I don't think that's entirely true, and here's why. Um, when I had talked to some cultural exchange students from China, they, as I'd spoke to them, they said that they really had a radically different understanding of free speech than what we have today, and that's, I think, in part because of what totalitarian communism did to their society, but also because, I mean, this ties back to Confucius, like the idea that a person has a certain social role is a Confucian idea, and that using your actions or your speech to break out of that role is fundamentally counter to society at large then. So that's a cultural idea that's fundamentally shaping economic and political paradigms there. So I think you can't exactly measure that, but it is real, and I think it is sensible, and it is there, and it's important.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess one of the other points I wanted to bring up with consumerism is that I see it as a broader issue of materialism. And I mean, I don't know, people always bring up the counter argument. Well, actually, I'll say what I was going to say, and then I'll bring up the counter argument. My opinion is that we are not intrinsically materialist. That's not true whatsoever. We do not operate purely on objects. We need some kind of interpersonal connection with others to really thrive as an individual. And what I think we see right now largely is not that people are necessarily wanting to buy and buy more things, but they want to consume and use those things excessively over relationships to other people. Now, I don't think relationships to other people could be entirely displaced, but what people usually say against this then is that, oh, but I want this iPhone, or oh, I want that social media account. Who are you to tell
Right.
me no? It's like, well, but
You
you're
can be
missing
critical
the
of
point
something
there.
you can be critical of something that
Yeah, that like perhaps it isn't good to just post a picture of yourself in front of a lake and then call someone liking it a social interaction. Like, I liked the
Yeah.
picture. I didn't talk to you. Or even just DMing someone. Talking to people online is great, but unless you have a voice-to-voice contact, even like this, which I don't think most people really have over text, you lose something, which is
Right.
fundamental to the human condition, and I think that is incontrovertible.
I concur. It's a
Yeah.
good point.
And it annoys me nobody else really talks about it. Like, it is one of
Yeah.
those points in modern cultural discourse, like you hear about fake news, you hear about people getting addicted to social media, but you
Right.
never really hear about how that has some kind of social implication for how we really relate and understand each other.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm extremely online, but not in a social media way. So like, when people say like they're addicted to social media, it's like I don't know what the fuck you do on social media for that long.
Right? Like,
Like
that's
to the
exactly
point
what I
you'd be
think. Like,
addicted.
you really are this addicted to scrolling through pictures of your friends standing in front of, like, monuments and cities? Like, that's
Like how many
addictive.
fucking people do you follow on Instagram? Like
Right?
literally like a minute scroll, and I'm like to the end of my feed for like 2 days.
Exactly. Like, what are you that obsessive that you're going through their accounts and stalking what they're doing? You're that obsessed with what these people are doing with their lives? It couldn't be me. Mm-mm.
It's
Couldn't
not-
be. Like, I got better things to do with my time than gawk at.
I mean, I
whatever
guess
everybody else is doing.
occasionally it's like if someone who I've like not heard about in a long fucking time suddenly posts something,
Right.
I'll like go to their profile and be like, "What the fuck have they been?" Like, and
Right.
see if I
Sure.
just missed something. But yeah, I'm not like going through their follow lists or whatever the fuck. Like, cause I saw like screenshots on Twitter. It was like post your activity or whatever, and it was like the iPhone thing where it like tells you how much screen time you have.
Mm-hmm.
And some of these people had like 11 or 12 hours of screen time.
What? That's half the day. How do you spend half the day on your phone? What are you
I
doing?
don't know. I like on the lower end. Like I think I averaged like 3 hours maybe.
Actually, I'll see what I have right now.
I think I had like 3 hours this week, but like I don't know how people do that.
That is absurd.
And a lot of people spend a lot of time on Twitter, like 6 hours a day on Twitter. I'm like, fuck, like I just read Twitter. I don't interact really on Twitter. I mean, I guess I use Reddit a lot and like Discord, but I don't know. I'm not on there for 8 hours a day.
I spent about 4.5 hours, so more than you, but certainly at 12. And most of it's on entertainment.
Yeah,
The social
you guys are
networking
just
is
mad because your phones are dry.
Yeah, I spend
I
most
hang
of
out
it
with
on
my
YouTube. God damn.
I would say I hang out with my friends in person like a fucking normal person.
Yeah, I mean, I do
I'll
that as
shoot
much
my
as I
friend a
can at
text and be
university.
like, "Hey, you want to fucking meet? Yeah, sure. Meet me here." And we
Right.
go fucking hang out. Like,
Yeah. Or if you want to, get in a call on Discord, you do that. You don't stare at their profile.
yeah,
I don't get it. People are
yeah. I
addicted
don't
to
normally have.
memes and jokes.
Yeah, I guess that's possible.
That
I
is
mean,
true. I mean, I suppose. I mean, that is true because I guess whenever I watch those videos, I see like the stereotype is like, I tried to get my work done, but every 5 minutes I just couldn't help going back to Reddit and looking at memes. Oh my god, I had to turn off my internet for the day, and I found I was liberated. Oh my god. It's like, I mean, just like don't open Chrome, bro. Okay, like, I guess. I don't know. When I want to do something, I wrote my script right before I did this. I went right from
Yeah.
doing my script to setting up all the stuff on Streamlabs OBS here. There was no meme break on 4chan or anything like that. I did what I had to, and that's it. I don't know.
Yeah, I was just fucking chilling today. I'm trying to choreograph what I did today in my head. I don't know. I like woke up, exercised, wrote some shit, read a little bit,
Ooh.
fucking talked to some friends for a bit on Discord. We played like a game or two.
Oh, to clarify quick, this is not scripted. The script is for my next upcoming video. Somebody said this is scripted. This is not scripted.
We have talking points. Like we went
Yeah.
over what we're gonna talk about.
Right.
Because last episode there's a lot of fucking awkward pauses.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no.
Yeah, then
Everybody here, if they subscribe to my second channel, hint, hint, will see what I did today because that is a video I'll be uploading tonight around 2 or 3 a.m. whenever I get done editing it.
yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with watch YouTube when doing something else. That's normally what I do. Like, I'll put on YouTube in the background if I don't have someone talking to me. Or,
yeah, same.
I mean, today I like fucking talked with my boyfriend for like fucking 7 or 8 hours. So like,
Jesus,
that wasn't a problem. But
that is incredible. Yeah, I could not be doing that. I do too much in a day. Not to brag or anything, but oh my god.
I do so much in the day.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
bro.
I got up and
I do get paid by George Soros. So
George Soros,
You know.
God. Ooh, that's a good point, actually. What do you actually think of the conspiracy theories surrounding him?
George Soros is like one of the most philanthropic people on the fucking planet.
Yeah, I've heard.
Like he literally gives away billions of dollars a year to actual charities.
Yeah.
Like not like the George Soros Foundation or whatever. Like he legitimately like does a lot of philanthropy like around the world, like particularly with like things like UNICEF, like a lot of advocacy organizations for like people in need, like displaced peoples and shit like that. Like the dude is like a really like, especially where he fucking came from. Like he hid, like his parents like ate shit in the Holocaust. Like
Jesus.
his entire way of life was just absolutely fucking decimated, and he had to see horrifying shit, and at a very young age, and it's like he literally pulled himself up by his bootstraps from literally nothing, and made this huge charitable empire. And it's a little bit disturbing and offensive to me that it's sort of been reduced to like this conspiracy, like that he's somehow funding, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, well, the conspiracy now is he's like funding degeneracy and wants to see the downfall of the West. And
Bro, I'm gay. Like, please, George Soros, if you're listening, my PayPal. I'm not gonna give out my PayPal. I don't want to do that right now.
yeah. What I wonder though is like when people talk about those kind of conspiracy theories. Somebody mentioned the Koch brothers conspiracy too. Like, what's the? I never hear what the end game of those people is. Like, we already have a society. Oh, we live in a society. Got them. But like, people right now, you know, we ain't doing the best as we could. Like, but how much worse could it really be? Besides, like, you know, totalitarianism notwithstanding, but like, how worse could people really be? I mean, there are certain norms of human behavior which have always transpired throughout the entirety of human civilization, and even now, when people who are really negative about society are still talking about them, it's like they're still there. Women are not more promiscuous than ever. Men are not receiving less women than ever. That is just not true. Those are incel theories, but even so, I don't understand where these people think society is going to go. I just don't get it.
All right. Very cool. Good stuff.
No response?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what you said. Like, again, I don't know. I sort of lost my train of thought.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. Shoot. Yeah, unfortunately for people messaging about the Discord right now, I'm sorry, but right now the Discord is patron only.
We don't got time for that.
I had a lot of BS in the Discord before that the paywall has thankfully destroyed, and hopefully will never come back.
Yeah. God.
Yeah, it was
Right.
not the greatest it could have been, considering I do video essays. But what can you do? What can you do?
Hey, bro, I loved your X video.
Yeah, people would just stop in, like, no hate, because, like, I'm glad they liked the video, but they would message me, at me, and they'd just be like, yo, I love the X video. And they'd never message again. They wouldn't even leave. They'd be there. They would be there. They'd be online, but they would just not ever be active in the server again. And we had music discussion chats where people like that could talk about the X video. They could talk about the Tyler video. They didn't do it. I don't know. You know,
And then people pissed and moaned when you said, all right, everyone, I'm taking it Patreon only because my patrons are the only one who talked to me in here.
right.
And everyone like started like crying about it.
Yeah. I mean,
It's like there's like 2 non-Patreon users in this fucking Discord that are active, and we invited them to the patron only Discord.
right, because they're just dope people.
Yeah, so it doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. But
I don't know. I don't get. I might do what Schlatt does, and I'll allow Twitch subscribers in for free.
yeah,
But I gotta set that up at some point. It'll be done by the end of the summer. That's for certain.
yeah, rip Chuff.
Yeah.
Chuff, if you're out there, we miss you.
Yeah. It's a damn shame. But what are you gonna do? Well, the next question was kind of tangential to consumerism. I'm a fan of experimental music, and somehow we do enjoy it. The thing I don't know is that why do people like us enjoy experimental? It just sounds good to our ears, but does it not really appeal to others? How and why do we enjoy this experimental music? You have any thoughts on that?
I guess I'm kind of I like experimental hip hop. Like, I mean, I guess Death Grips is sort of like experimental now. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so like I enjoy experimental hip hop and stuff, but like experimental electronic music, I'm not huge into.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's like what Big Joe said. It's an acquired taste.
Absolutely.
Like when I first heard Death Grips, I was like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah, same.
And then eventually, like I just sort of, I liked it. So then, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really listen to too much experimental music, and like a lot of people clowned on me for like making fun of harsh noise in my lo-fi video. Don't know why, because harsh noise is like objectively not music; it's just sound. But yeah, I don't listen to that kind of music really at all. I'm very conservative when it comes to like the chord changes and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I like to hear my music. I don't like broken glass being scratched or something. I mean, I'm sure experimental's more than that. Like, I enjoy Death Grips, but it's even that. I like Ex-Military is my favorite album because
Same.
it's sample based and it's more conservative. It's less experimental. I don't know.
Love that. I love it.
I guess though, like in general, people may like experimental just because shit. I don't know. It touches on something which isn't being done regularly. Maybe they're like hipster types. I don't know. They like to be contrarians, not in a negative way, but for what that's worth.
Yeah. That's a good segue into the other one. What are your thoughts on the new generation of rap?
Right. I guess I'll go into that one. I mean, I'm actually going to be touching on this a little bit for the video I'm currently working on. It seems to me right now like trap is really saturated in hip hop. And would you agree on that? That trap's kind of saturated.
I'd say in mainstream hip hop, trap is
Mm-hmm. I think it's important to realize, like, and this is how I said it in my script too, so it's going to sound repetitive for the people that watch the video, but the first trap song didn't appear in the top 25 in the Billboard charts until 2013. Trap was not in the charts at all before that. It's a relatively recent thing, and I mean, it's gonna go away in a few years. Like, Humble by Kendrick is great, but is it really gonna be remembered that much in a few years? I don't know. I mean, we don't really remember Little John. I mean, we kind of do, but he was a new generation of rap in 2006. So was 50 Cent. Like, arguably, gangster rap was something very, very different from what had preceded it. Does anybody really listen to 50 Cent anymore? Maybe, but is he, important? No, not at all. I imagine it's going to be the same with these people.
Oh man, I forgot Little John existed.
Yeah! Yeah! God damn it! Break it down! Oh my god, yeah. Absolute trash.
I mean, I it depends on the the artist, the rapper, but I fucking love Lil Pump.
Oh yeah.
6ix9ine Lil Pump, I fucking love it.
For the meme, I think.
I mean, yeah, for the meme. I'm not analyzing, 6ix9ine.
No.
Being whole squad full of killers, I'm a killer too. Let's talk about this from a perspective of
I'm a killer.
human
It really
psyche.
it's touching on the metaphysical aspects of human relations in class conscious societies, I think.
No, I just want something that I can absolutely get fucking wasted and just yell at a party. That's the music that I want to listen to.
At a party, I think.
At a party, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not writing a script and listening to Lil
Fifi.
Pump. That's actually a lie, because that is on my. I have a lot of. Yeah.
Right.
So the other day I was writing. I had my Google Drive music or my Google Play music synced to my Discord, and I was online and I didn't realize it because I usually go offline when I'm doing something. And someone sends me a screenshot, and I'm listening to Billy by 6ix9ine, and someone's like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah. I don't know. I don't. That kind of music just doesn't appeal to me. I'm gonna listen to it when everybody else is, when we're getting shit faced. But other than that, I don't really like it. Same with Old Town Road. It's not objectively bad, but not to my preference. I'll listen to it when I'm getting drunk, and that's about it.
Old Town Road's dope.
It's all right. It's whatever. It's not bad. I take it for what it is. It's definitely no Billie Eilish. No, that's for sure.
I've for someone that's so popular, apparently I've genuinely never heard a Billie Eilish song.
She only became relevant this year. She had not one song in the top 25 last year. Yeah, she is that new.
Okay, all right. Because I hear people bitching about how she's an industry plant. I was like, what does that even mean?
She's not. I mean, maybe in the sense.
I mean, isn't everyone kind of an industry plant? They kind of pick and choose who they pick up. So they picked up Lil Nas X when
right.
He has one good song.
Right. And she only had one. She didn't even have one good song. I mean, not to say her first song was bad, but there was no group of songs that the label could look at. She only had one song when she was selected, but it was good. So, I mean, what is bizarre to me is even before I had even heard of any songs from her, I was seeing interviews with her being promoted on YouTube, and I was thinking, well, who is this? Why are these, like Vanity Fair, I think, did an interview with her. Why are these big companies doing an interview with somebody who's like not relevant? I don't know. That was kind of weird to me.
I don't know. I mean, there's like no, I don't understand the concept of an industry plant.
I mean, I guess it's just the idea that like she is just being selected by the industry to serve a specific niche,
Like to become like, I guess like what was the monkeys in the 60s,
right?
and like I don't know what is another, like I don't know, like I'm thinking of boy bands like Big Time Rush type shit, like
Yeah, the
like
Beatles.
shit that's manufactured. Is that like that's like the shit that's like they get a bunch of people, like I can only think of like industry plants as like groups. I can't really think of a single person who's an industry plant.
Right. I mean, yeah, I really can't either. I mean, I guess Katy Perry, you could say, might be. Because, I mean, as I was going through music from the 2000s for the video I was working on, I mean, she really is the first person that I noticed. Beyonce a little bit too, when she broke away from Destiny's Child. Those two are like the first people to really introduce overtly and proudly promiscuous ideas into modern pop lyrics, which I found kind of odd. I mean, other people did it, but like if you look at their lyrics consistently for what was in the top 25 at the time, each song, each hit had some element of it, which I don't know what that means, but it's kind of odd, kind of weird.
Yeah, I mean, I fucking love Big Time Rush, so that's not to hate on industry plants. So
Yeah,
Lil Nas X is dope. So
I did not like Big Time Rush, not at all.
Really?
No.
Fascinating.
I mean, what, Nickelodeon? Come on. Why would you listen to a Nickelodeon band? Like I don't know.
Well, damn, bro. I don't know. I was like 6.
Yeah, I thought that stuff was crap, bro. Not, I don't know.
Rap is crap, as the man, the myth, the legend, Benjamin Shapiro would say.
Oh my god, does he actually say that?
Yeah, he says like he says like vaguely racist things on Twitter all the time.
What does that even mean? Like, what rap? All rap? You're calling an entire
I gotta show
genre
you
of
this
music?
video. I gotta show you this. Can you put it on stream if I link it to you? I gotta find where I fucking linked it.
I haven't changed anything else. Like about all the colors and everything are gonna change,
All right.
and also like the audio is gonna get messed up, because like the
Ben
audio
Shapiro,
is.
cultural critic.
Oh my god, I'll have to watch it later. How long is it?
You'll have to watch it. It's like 2 minutes, like 2 minutes 19 seconds. It's the funniest video I've ever fucking seen in my life, and I can't tell if it's actually Ben Shapiro or not. And that's like the best part about it, is like I don't know if it's Ben Shapiro.
Huh.
But Ben Shapiro has such absolute ass cultural views.
Like what?
Like there's like all these like, hold on, I gotta, yeah, here, like there's all these memes that's like, if you wear your pants below your butt, don't bend the brim of your cap, and have an EBT card, 0% chance you'll ever be a success in life. And it's like, that's just taking the long road around saying the N-word, Ben.
What? You have an EBT. What's an EBT card?
An EBT card is literally food stamps. So Ben Shapiro is literally just.
So if you're poor, you have 0% chance of not being poor.
I mean, it's literally just it's just adding black people, but like, he's just thinking of anything racist that he can think of.
This is like the subtweet of the century. My god.
At all black people.
I don't know. Why would you even say something like that? That's the most culturally insensitive thing I've ever seen.
Who knows, dude? Ben Shapiro is like.
That's one of the things that gets me about conservatives. It's like you expect everyone like that to just break out of the cultural conditioning they've lived in since their birth. Please enlighten me, Mr. Genius sociologist, how, hundreds of years of, interpersonal theory is just going to be overcome by your conservative wizardry. I'd love to hear it.
Bro,
It's because they don't get married, okay? That's the reason.
It's the single mothers. It's the single mothers and the
Well,
fathers that are leaving.
it's a single mother and it's abortion. If we made abortion illegal, it wouldn't be a problem.
It is interesting though that the rate of single mothers among low-income communities has increased since like the 50s. I wonder why that is.
It is. Yeah, it is very interesting. I mean, crime has also gone down since Roe v. Wade was legalized. So, or
Yes.
since Roe v. Wade was passed, which is sort of like there's a lot of like, there's no one answer to why things happen.
Yeah. I mean, even since the 90s, like the rate of violent crime has gone down substantially, which is kind of incredible.
Hold on, my security
What?
system's going off.
Oh my god, I'm gonna mute you for actually.
I mean, it's fine. It's just someone's trying to break into my house.
Oh my god. Well, I hope
You gotta give me 1
hope they're
second.
not successful.
Yeah, you just gotta wait for the automated turrets to get him.
Does
Okay, it's over.
Wait, hold on. Does Amazing have a Twitch? I do, but I don't really use it. If this stream ever gets more viewers, I will switch to Twitch eventually. But so long as we stick at 100, pretty unlikely. I don't know. I obsess about viewers too much. Who knows? I gotta see what happens. If the stream becomes a more high-profile thing, I don't know. I want to do it regularly, so we'll see.
Wait, did I say abortions cause the crime rate to go up? Did I fuck that up?
I think you
I
said,
meant to say go down.
Yeah, you said that. I think.
Okay, I wanted to make sure because someone just said it in chat. I don't know if they were reiterating what I said or if I accidentally misspoke.
Yeah. Another one of those things. What can you do?
What can you do except piss and moan on Twitter? You know,
Yeah, or here on stream.
you never know.
Well, I guess. I mean, we didn't really answer what is the new generation of rap.
I would say it's like whatever the list of, what is the thing called? The freshman list?
Oh, the cipher?
Yeah, where it's like they just list a bunch of rappers that are like,
Oh no, that's the cipher. Something different. My bad.
yeah, oh, it's like the XXL freshman list or whatever, where they have like,
Oh wait, that
like
might
Lil Pump was on it.
that
and,
might
like,
be the cipher. Yeah,
don't know,
it is the
but
cipher.
it's-
That's right.
Yeah, okay. And there's like Pitchfork has one too.
Yeah, I don't know. As somebody who doesn't really like rap intrinsically, like it's not bad. It really isn't bad. There's something I just don't understand about legitimately liking and getting behind a simple beat, like not even a progressive beat with like some maybe orchestra or sampling or anything like that. Just a simple trap beat and somebody talking over it. Like, I don't hate it, but
Yeah,
I don't
I mean,
get
if
it.
I'm at
I I would love to have somebody explain it to me because I just do not get it.
you just
What
said
is
you get
so
there.
good about it?
Yeah, but I mean, it's like yeah, rap's pretty diverse as a genre. So like, I don't like triplet flows, so I don't really like Migos that much.
Yeah.
I don't like that rhyming scheme.
Yeah, me neither. It's very
But
repetitive.
I don't like trap as a background to rap a lot of the time.
Me neither.
Depends on the song. Yeah, Rich Brian 88 Rising, they're good. I like them.
Mhm. I've listened to some MF Doom. Somebody mentioned them. He's pretty good. I like him. I mean, I gotta say, I
Go
really
ahead.
enjoy '90s rap for the most part. Biggie is one of my favorite rappers just because he just has a very easygoing flow, and also the instrumentation is good. Like, it's not this bare bones skeleton of a song where it's just somebody talking over it. It's like,
Yeah,
that's boring.
I get it.
That's just, oh my god, I can't do it.
yeah.
That's why I like
like
X's music too, is because I mean, he would try.
It's diverse.
Yeah, there was
Yeah.
more there. And I guess if you listen to a rapper's entire album, there's always more there than what is exactly popular. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, I guess its simplicity is what makes trap awesome. Yeah, but like, no, no, not for me. Some simple music is just boring. And I mean, like, simple and boring are practically synonyms, I think.
Yeah, I don't agree, but
Well, if something is simple,
it's personal. It's personal taste. Like,
yeah.
I think there's some beauty in simplicity, but
I mean, there can be when it's like not repetitive, but I mean, if your beat is repetitive, it's like there's no new stimulation because it's the same stimulation. It's repetitive.
yeah.
That's what I don't get. It's like it's the same thing over and over. Like what new thing is there that like keeps bringing people back? I don't know.
I get that.
Let's see. What names did people mention here?
I like the one Aromatic said. This kind of goes back to our previous topic. Paul Joseph Watson made a comment on diversity, a pretty racist one, to reply to another racist dude about London not being English anymore. Lauren Southern does that shit all the time about France. Like, where are the French braids? Paris is just full of hijabs now. It's like, France has always been that way. Like,
Yeah.
Paris has always been a city full of, like, Algerian immigrants and
Yeah.
people from Suriname and shit like that. Like, France hasn't been that way since, like, the fucking Franks were around.
I gotta love how like when France was actually like a colonialist empire, the conservatives were defending that, and now they're also like rebutting like the consequences of what those conservatives actually wanted. Like that is just the mental gymnastics you need to do. You need to be practicing every single day for mental gymnastics like that. You need to not only actively be ignoring history, you need to be ignoring the fact that the people that even now, like if you don't realize that like even recently, like Algeria was only liberated a couple decades ago. If you didn't even figure that out in your political science class or political science classes, I mean, you're ignorant, and I'm surprised you even got a degree. Like you are actively obscuring the truth on that kind of account. And I think it's just garbage.
Oh my god, dude. There was some shit earlier. Fucking Dave motherfucking Rubin, dude. He was live streaming and he was talking about because he caught some heat because you remember Ben Shapiro was on his show.
Right.
And he's like, would you come to my my barbecue? And it was just on his anniversary. I don't think he ever really stated like it's for my anniversary or whatever. But he was like, no, I wouldn't go because it's celebrating gay marriage and I don't believe in that. It's like, bro, it's a fucking barbecue. Like, we're not going to jerk off in a church. Like, fuck. We're just going to smoke some meat, bro. We're going to smoke some meats. We're going to have a gay old time in the happy sense of the word gay. And so he caught a ton of flack for that. And then today he's like, we can't expect everyone to support LGBT rights right after they're legalized. You know, Obama didn't. And, you know, of course, here comes the whataboutism. Like, Obama didn't. And Hillary didn't. Like, who the fuck cares, dude? Like...
I don't know.
Who cares?
I don't know. If you just can't look at somebody as your neighbor and appreciate them as a human being, I mean, I don't know. I think you live a very sad and angry life doing that. I can understand disliking, somebody for their sexual orientation, but if you still can't love them as a brother in the human race, I mean, you just suck. Sorry.
I'm crypto gay. Nobody knows I'm gay until I tell them.
Yeah, I guess.
You're gross, bitch. Get banned, son. Boop. I love doing that.
Yeah, he was probably just kidding around.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. He's banned now.
Jesus.
I mean, yeah, I'm Schrodinger's gay.
Yeah. New World Thought up here mentioned Albert Camus was Algerian. Yeah, I was actually
he
going to mention
was.
that. That was in my head. I couldn't think of the guy, though. But yeah, like, one of the foremost French theorists of modern literary theory, and he's not even from France. Or I think one of his parents was, actually. But even then, it's like, I don't know.
We went from rap to Algeria's independence. It's the natural progression of a conversation, my dude.
Bro, you can take a conversation any way you want. That's the beauty of it. Yeah, I don't know. What else? What is relevant to this that I wanted to bring up? I guess another point that really gets me, like regarding people like Shapiro and other conservatives, is the, I don't want to say intolerance, but just broad distaste they have for Islam. I get it, and yet I don't. Like, I can understand having a general distaste for it, but I can't understand, hating it as this horribly obscene, destructive force to Western civilization. That it just doesn't come across to me.
It doesn't come across to really anybody.
I mean, except those people.
Evidently.
Like Lauren Southern's claim about the hijab. Like, people want to wear a hijab. Like, so what? What?
Yeah, like France was gonna ban the burkini.
Yeah. I
Which
mean,
is like, who the fuck cares what you wear to the fucking beach? You're not showing enough skin.
like, what does that
You
even?
fucking take off the burkini.
Like, that is literally an infringement on their religious liberties, and that's kind of scary. I don't know. I think didn't Australia ban hijab wearing in public?
I think you're thinking of Austria, not Australia.
Oh, did Austria do that?
Yeah.
No. Well, even then.
Well, recently their whole government got blown the fuck out because it came out that the FPO was taking money from the Russian government, so
God.
they kind of got boned. Everyone resigned without any sort of like bloodshed or investigation. They're all just like, yeah, we did it. Bye. So there's snap elections there, which is kind of fun.
Jesus. That's another interesting point, though. What do you think about, like, the Democrats talking about, like, not just Trump's collusion with Russia, but, like, general Republican collusion with Russia? Like, what do you make of it?
Well, today Mueller said if Donald Trump didn't commit a crime, I would have said it.
Right.
And that was kind of his whole press conference was like, I'm done here. But you should all read the report. You should read the report. And every time people would ask, was like, did he do it? He goes, well, if I. So basically, he just refuted Trump's claims that, like, because Trump always said, like, oh, Mueller fully exonerated me. And then today, there's, like, sort of a clapback from Mueller. Like, if I would have exonerated you, I would have said it. You can't indict a sitting president, is essentially what the press conference was. So.
Have you read the report?
Yeah. The day it came out, I read all of it. And
I haven't read it. What are the main takeaways?
I mean, the funniest one to me was, like, Jared Kushner and, like, Donald Trump Jr. literally can't get charged with a crime because they're too stupid. That was literally the conclusion of the special prosecutor was like, there's no way they could have known what they did was illegal because they're just too stupid.
What did they do?
Like the Trump Tower meeting with the Russian agent.
But, like
the
what
the
exactly
former wife of the
happened
Russian
in
agent.
that, like, in that exchange that was so terrible?
Redacted.
So we don't know.
It's still redacted. It's there. It's just redacted. Like, there's pages upon pages that are just completely blacked out. So.
See, what I wonder is, like, is the entire, consequence of this, a kind of, I don't want to say cyberpunk, but really when you think about it, it kind of is this giant cyberpunk claim that, like, Russia via Donald Trump was able to use spies to influence the American electorate's decision? Like, is that the claim?
Yeah.
That Trump...
Russian money or Russian influence was used to Russian influence would be a better word. Russian influence, sort of like the all these things behind, like, the happenings, like the DNC leaks and shit like that, were essentially a Russian effort to not necessarily get Donald Trump elected,
Right.
but he just happened to be the most brash and frankly retarded candidate available to them. And so they just supported the fuck out of him. And I mean, there's, like, all sorts of shit in there that's, like, they also did it to, like, Jill Stein. They gave Jill Stein, like, a ton of, like, sort of like they tried to boost Jill Stein just to sort of sow discontent. Like, they didn't, like, they weren't like, let's get Donald Trump elected. They were just like, let's fuck with America.
But I mean, at the same time, they released documents that, like, showed some pretty bad things about Hillary and the DNC. I mean...
Yeah.
That's the part I really don't get, is like, okay, Russia released these documents, but these documents are incriminating. Should that not, like, still be an issue then for the Democrats?
Yeah, I mean, it was a big reason they lost. Like, you couldn't get around, like, every debate is like, what about her emails?
But
that
they
just
never
kept
fully
happening.
addressed them. The issues
Yeah.
in those emails, nobody gives a crap about them anymore, and I think people should.
Yeah, I mean, it's there's nothing you can really do about it.
Right. I guess. It just, I don't know, that always kind of annoyed me about the narrative surrounding the emails was like, I mean, I don't want to say on certain news channels, but whenever I'd, hear about them on the news, it would always be about the Russian side of things, and I always thought, well, like, what did the emails actually say? Why were these emails so effective at dissuading the American public? Why is that not being discussed?
I think it's just the rhetoric they used because a lot of them were inconsequential at best.
True.
And so, or dated top secret, so they completely got unclassified. And it was like, it's just sort of the Michael Flynn thing. Like, if I did a tenth of what she did, I'd be in jail today. And now Michael Flynn's in jail for something similar, which is ironic. But yeah, I agree with Aromatic again. Russia's definitely doing shady shit with Cambridge Analytica and Brexit. That's another good example of
Yeah.
that's actually might be a better example. Like Cambridge Analytica was like directly funded in order to do opposition research and like fuck with the Brexit vote in as many ways as possible and just sow confusion.
Well, what makes me wonder then is like, what do we do as a global community about this? Like, what comes next? What's the next step?
Fucking harsh sanctions. I mean, there's really nothing you can do. Like, Russia, the reason they're doing it is they're lashing out because they're antiquated militarily, economically. They're choking. Sort of like, you know, they're not as big as they used to be. They don't have all those satellite states. They don't have the resources they once did. So they're really only expressing power in the only way they know how, which is subverting. So
Crazy.
that's the only thing they can do.
I suppose so. Well, I think we've exhausted that topic. Let's move on to the next one. What type of music will become overly commercialized in the following years? Example, EDM is one of the most common types of music in the charts today. Thoughts?
Well, when we talked about it a little earlier before the stream, I said electro swing. I think electro swing is like gonna be a big one.
Yeah, honestly, I have no idea whatsoever. Because right now,
What was the one you said that was like that's like sampling? It starts with a PA.
Plunderphonics.
Plunderphonics. Yeah, that's.
It may make a resurgence actually, because you haven't really seen much sampling in music as of late. There's been a lot of synth-heavy, simplified beats from people like the Chainsmokers and Zed and Rihanna. So, I don't know. It'd be nice to see sampling come back. I kind of miss that aesthetic from the 90s. Hopefully, well, actually, Bruno Mars kind of did bring it back with Finesse with Cardi B. So maybe that'll become a new trend as we move into 90s nostalgia. I don't know. But
Jay Dilla, that style. I love that shit.
Yeah. This is a tangential topic, but what do you think of 90s nostalgia?
In what way? Like just generally? Or
Like, for me, 80s nostalgia has a certain, I don't want to say seriousness, but it's tactile. Like, 80s nostalgia has a very definite aesthetic. 90s nostalgia really doesn't for me. It's too similar to the early 2000s as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I don't really have I don't have nostalgia for the past too much. I mean,
but I mean, like,
I have
if you think
nostalgia for going back to when things were simpler for me.
Right.
Not for like, but like I don't look at the 1980s and be like, damn, I love that shit. Like I don't think that way.
But like, when you think of the 80s, you can think of like Stranger Things is a good example. Synths, Atari, Nintendo, that type of thing. When you think of the 90s, what do you really think of? I don't know. I don't think
Rodney
of anything. Yeah, Rodney King, that's true. Can't we all just get along?
90s Rodney King, Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
Fucking yeah. Columbine.
Yeah, I mean, that's not necessarily an aesthetic. Well, I guess for fascists it is nowadays.
Yeah, I was about to say school shooter wave.
Yeah, let's not talk about that.
Bosnia.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I guess, wasn't there like an Armenian genocide in the 90s too?
No, you're thinking of the Bosnian genocide and then the Kosovar Albanian genocide.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, I guess the N64 was relevant, as somebody said in the chat here, but like, what's the N64 aesthetic? Shitty motion graphics?
Well, that's what I don't get about nostalgia for the past like that.
But
like what are we going back to? Like MS-DOS CRT monitors? Like, what is the nostalgia?
8-bit is like...
Oh, fuck, Rwanda too. That's another genocide.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought
in the
Rwanda
90s.
happened earlier. I thought it was like the 60s or something.
I think it was 92.
Oh.
There's a lot of genocides in 1992.
That's crazy. Yeah, well,
I guess like television, like 90s late night television was
that's
good.
true. I guess
Like kind of the golden age of SNL.
But is that really an aesthetic? You know, is it really a feel?
What was it, 94? I'm sorry.
I mean, I guess crap internet websites were an aesthetic at the time, but like
The Gulf War.
it's I don't know, it's just it all seems too similar. Like the Gulf War is pretty similar to the Iraq War, which happened in 2003.
Literally the same purpose.
Yeah, exactly. Desert Storm was really not that different from, you know, what Bush did. I just don't see not quote unquote 90s nostalgia becoming anything. You know what? I don't really see 2000s nostalgia becoming anything either. It's kind of odd to me because even in say 2009, 2010, in the early days of vaporwave, 10 years ago, 80s nostalgia was pretty salient, and now we're getting to 10 years later where 90s nostalgia should be becoming a thing.
Right.
And it's really not. It really, really isn't. At least not that I can see, besides Bruno Mars. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, what really made, you know, 1994 different from 2004?
Yeah.
Windows XP?
I don't know. Yeah, I was literally about to say, I'm like, Windows XP, like 9/11, I guess.
That's true, but that's not an aesthetic.
9/11 is my
Hopefully not.
aesthetic.
Gee, oh my god, that is.
Osama bin Laden core.
Oh my god, let's not.
This meme I just sent you. This is what I was distracted by.
Oh my god. Jesus. Sponge Boy me Bob.
Sponge boy me Bob. Where's me perk?
I'm dummy
Never
thick.
mind. I found it.
Yeah. That's true. I guess SpongeBob did come out in the 90s too. But it's just not there's no big like cultural significance to the 90s, I got to say. I mean, no, I can't think of a damn thing. R&B, I guess, was big in the 90s. Hip hop was big in the 90s, but hip hop is still big now. No.
There really is 9/11 vaporwave in there.
Oh, there's everything vaporwave now.
I had to look it up because I didn't believe it.
No,
And yeah, there's 9/11 vaporwave.
No, I believe it. You know, there's Alan Watts vaporwave. There's actually Albert Camus vaporwave. Let's see, who's another one. Yeah.
Only 90s kids will remember World Trade Center bombing.
Jesus.
Vaporwave.
Yeah, I don't know. See, Big Joe says a lot of modern humor can be traced back to the 90s. And, like, that's what I'm getting at. Like, we're still living in too much of a, continuity from the 90s to really be nostalgic about it. Like, the 90s are just the proto-2000s, which are just, proto now. But there's really not that much that's changed. I mean, aside from iPhones and, like, fashion, I guess.
Ketamine.
But even fashion hasn't changed that much. A suit from the 90s is still a suit from today. It's not really that much different.
I mean, stylistically, I guess they're cut different, but...
I guess a little bit, but, like, if Bill Clinton was president today, would he fit in as a president? I think so.
Probably so, yeah.
I guess you could say the same with... I guess suits have remained pretty much the same since the 50s. Carter would probably still look like a modern president, too.
So, yeah, if you look at them in their suits... I mean, fucking FDR looks, other than the wheelchair being weird.
Right.
And wearing a hat.
Right. Yeah, the hat thing kind of died off.
That's true. Hats went away, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. There were also certain types of collars that dissipated. Like, there was one particular type of collar that was popular in the 1890s with certain types of ties where, it wasn't a modern collar where, like, there's big flaps, but it would, like, curl up around the neck and you just, like, tuck the flaps down.
Overcoats kind of went out, too.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, the suit has really become a lot more simple for some reason or another. Don't even know why.
I guess that's interesting. Yeah.
I think it's actually kind of interesting to me how enduring the suit is as, like, a cultural form. I mean, it really didn't exist prior to, I want to say, the 1860s. Because, like, if you go back to, say, the 1820s, it existed in kind of an early form, but not really.
Yeah, it wasn't like, sort of like industrial, like...
Yeah.
Industrial Revolution, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's been around for over 100 years since. Which is, I don't know. things like that make me wonder, like, not are we slowing down in our cultural development, but, like, I guess I do kind of wonder that. Like, what is happening? Like, dress like that has not remained that consistent, you know, ever before that.
I think it's manufacturing,
That's a good
right?
point.
'Cause it's like
That's a good point.
automated textiles and shit like that.
Right. In the 80s, everyone was nostalgic for the 50s, but were they, though? I mean, you had Billy Joel bringing back some kind of doo-wop, but even now, what's her face? The fat woman.
Adele.
No, the other one. The one that Megan Trainor. She tried to bring doo-wop back too, and like, that was kind of bizarre. I don't know where that came from. Didn't really work. But even now, we still kind of see nostalgia for the 50s, especially in conservative, groups online.
Yeah. I wear shorts and a t-shirt to work, so like, I think that my first day to work, I wore khakis and a polo. Literally, the next time I showed up for work, I fucking showed up in shorts and a t-shirt.
I always wear button-downs.
I wanted to make a good first impression, and then now that I have the job,
Yeah. What's it
I don't
matter?
give a fuck.
Right.
People complain about me either way. Damned if I do, damned if I don't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know. I like to wear patterns, and that's what I'm going to wear, regardless of what anybody else thinks. I think it looks cool.
You have a unique fashion style.
I mean, not really.
It's not bad.
No, it's
but
not.
it's like-
It's really not that unique. Like, if you Google, like, male pattern shirt, it's
Oh,
essentially
yeah, I
my
mean-
fashion style.
It's just not as common.
I don't know. I'm noticing it more and more nowadays. Like,
Do we know each other IRL? I mean, no.
No. We've known each other for, like, what, 2 years now?
Fuck, I guess it has been that long.
Yeah. So it's a substantially long amount of time. Ooh. Do decade-specific aesthetics actually exist, or are they created to sell us nostalgia? Well, I mean, I want to say one thing about certain very prominent aesthetics, like, consider chiptune. It is built on 80s nostalgia, which, if you look back at 80s music, I mean, like arcade music and NES music, like Galaga or Pac-Man or Super
Right.
Mario Bros. I mean, that's, undeniable that that music was inspired specifically by those games, which impacted people and made them nostalgic for when they were kids and played those games. So, I mean, that's definitely there. Also, you really can't argue against, I mean, a lot of the very popular dance music of the period was as synth-heavy as we remember it. I always think of, like, the Pointer Sisters or even early Whitney Houston. God, who's another one? Yaz is a dance pop, synth pop style group. Very synth heavy.
I'm so sorry. The edits are coming soon. These conversations are like, well, this one's not too long, but the first one was like 4 hours long.
Yeah, we're gonna probably cut this off in like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It's getting about that time. I'm getting tired. Gotta say. But yeah,
Gotta do these in the middle of the day.
yeah. I
Like
should.
12 o'clock. You like a European friendly one.
It's just so hard, man. It's just so hard. I mean, Schlatt streams at night and he does fine.
Yeah, but his audience is like
Gamers.
gamers.
Yeah.
Fucking gamers, dude.
God.
I hate gamers.
A friend of mine, oh my god, one governor that just got elected, he has the word gamer in his Twitter bio, but spelled Gaymer. Let me see if I can find it.
Did you die? Did your power go out?
Yo, can you not hear
Okay.
me? Oh, shoot.
No, I couldn't. You cut out. Okay, I thought your power went out again.
Oh, shoot. Oh, they all heard it in the chat.
Oh, I didn't hear it. Weird.
Jared Polis. This is his bio on Twitter. Father, entrepreneur, education policy, baseball tech, politics, gamer, Gaymer. Former
Oh.
member of Congress, current governor of Colorado.
Apparently your channel link for me doesn't work.
Yeah, I didn't copy it properly. Send it to me on Discord, and I'll copy it in properly.
Oh yeah, because it copied the
Like, I I don't know what inspired him to like put that in his bio, but
Is he gay?
no, he is a father and he has a wife. I don't
What?
know. It's weird.
Is he like a shit poster? Like
I-
Jeff's, or
I
is it Jeff
guess.
Sass?
I
Jeff Sass is kind of a shit poster on Twitter.
guess he is. I don't know. Okay, it should be updated now. It's
'Cause, I mean, I guess I could get like the gamer joke if he was gay, but like,
yeah,
it's just gotta be like something his kid told him to put in his bio or something.
I guess. I mean, he has a video of himself going around in an electric scooter, so I guess that's kind of interesting.
Oh shit! Whoops! I accidentally hit that guy's message. I'm sorry.
Oh, man. Yeah. I don't know. Oh, shoot. Kiki, I apologize for ignoring your questions. We've, you've sent them at times when we were talking about other things. That goes for everybody else also who is feeling ignored. My apologies.
How are you doing, fellow kids?
Yeah.
I don't want anyone under 30 in the House of Representatives or higher. Unpopular opinion.
I don't know. I think that's fine, but we should have like the federal government have less power in that case, because we need people associated with constituencies and electorates in more ways than like, being and living there. Like they have to have the same kind of experiences as those people, and they have to have real power to change things for those people. And if the federal government, which should have all these older people in it, is the only source of that power, I think you create a political state of affairs which feels isolated and dissociated from electorates.
That's a good question for you. What do you have any African literature you'd recommend?
Chinua Achebe is good. I only read one of his works, and it was a critique of Heart of Darkness, but it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. And I guess Heart of Darkness isn't African. It's about Africa, though, so it's good for that. I haven't really read much African literature.
I have Imperial Eyes, Travel Writing, and Transculturalization in my reading list. I haven't read through a ton of it yet, but it's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's how Europe writes about the rest of the world.
Mm-hmm.
It's like travel literature from how they describe how books would describe the African savages and shit like that. Like, how it sort of creates this image of it sort of like supports the narrative of expansionist policymaking. So like everyone, there was no obviously nothing ill was published. Like, oh, we cut off their hands if they steal, by the way.
Like, what are you talking about? Like the idea of
like the romanticized
the European man's burden.
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah.
Take a vacation to Central Africa. Why not? It's exotic.
Yeah. That is one of the things I really dislike, to tie this back to consumerism. One of the things I absolutely can't stand about modern economic affairs is that everything fits in its nicely packaged niche, and that goes for all the complexities of human culture around the world. You want to experience China? Go to a Chinese restaurant. You want to see some Africa? Go to Black Panther. There it is. You're culturally informed. Capitalism is bringing cultures together. Look at that. Except it's really not. And it's kind of reductive and kind of terrible. I don't know. Not a fan of it. I mean, to go back to the African literature question, I don't really know of much, and this is, again, because I suppose I come from a Eurocentric lens, but I don't really know of much significant European literature. I mean, I'm familiar with, the Egyptian Book of the Dead, some of the writings of the hieroglyphics, the Rosetta Stone, the Corpus Hermetica, which is allegedly written by some Egyptians, though it's likely written by some Greek Egyptians, so not quite the same. I think Philo lived in Alexandria for a while, but he was a Jew. And so his literature is all
I was about to say, I've
Jew-centric.
only ever been taught like North African, like Camus,
right.
like Middle Eastern literature. I'm gonna fucking ban this guy. He's annoying the shit out of me.
Ooh.
God. He's asking about our dad's age. It's annoying the fuck out of me.
I just ignored him.
I'm the judge, jury, and executioner.
Yeah.
Dude, mayonnaise? That's a good topic. That's a good topic.
I'm a
I
fan of
fucking
Cool
love
Whip.
mayonnaise. That's not the same thing though.
It's not, but I like it better.
Wait, are you talking about Miracle Whip, not Cool Whip?
Oh yeah, I am. My bad.
It's like cool. Yeah, it's like
Yeah, my
Cool
bad.
Whip is. Whoa, okay. I was about to say, I'm like, you put like Cool Whip on sandwiches.
Yeah,
like...
my bad. That was a big mistake.
Fuck, mayonnaise is so good though.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really eat sandwiches that often. I mean, and if I do, I'll usually get mustard on it or something. I'm not a big fan of mayo. It's really rich and kind of like not good for me.
I love it.
I know some people that eat it by the spoonful. Like,
That's gross. Okay, that's
Yeah,
fucked up. Okay, I do dip like French fries and chicken fingers in mayonnaise.
ugh.
Whoa.
I could understand like mayo and ketchup, like salsa
Well,
rosada.
I like
think it's called.
I mix it up. Like I
Yeah.
do ketchup and mayo.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, and also cocktail sauce is good too. That's ketchup and horseradish, and
That's true.
sometimes mayo's in that too. I like that. I don't know. Wait, what do you put in your hot dog?
Normally mustard,
Good.
sauerkraut,
Ooh.
ketchup occasionally if I'm really feeling it.
Mustard and onion. Got to go with it all the time.
Yeah, that's true. If I don't put sauerkraut on there, it's usually onion or relish or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Chili cheese is good too. On burgers, I'll usually do ketchup and mayo though. So I think that combination is better.
Yeah, that's a good combo.
Because it subtly reminds me of like a meatloaf because you usually have a ketchup topping on that.
Yeah.
So I like that flavor.
Yeah, it's good shit.
Mm.
It's good ass shit.
My sister loves to eat ketchup on hot dogs. I just don't know why for the life of me. It's not bad, but like I would rather have mustard.
Bro, poutine? Ooh. That is that good shit. Oh my god.
I've never had it. I'd like to, but
Really?
I've never had it.
It's delicious.
I mean, I'm not from Canada, so I don't know.
All right, chat. Give us something really fucking controversial to talk about.
Yeah.
Most controversial shit you can think about.
Yeah, that's
Something
good
fucking
idea.
horrifying. Let's do it. Come on. Give me some good shit. Controversy. That's what
Before
I'm
we
here
do
for.
that, somebody said, "Did you just say mayo and ketchup is salsa?" In Asia, no, in Asia, my God, in Hispanic countries, it's like referred to as salsa rosada or something like that, or salsa rosa.
Abortion's so boring. We talked about that last time. White replacement.
Yeah,
Okay, that's a good
salsa
one. We'll do that
rosada.
one.
Oh
We'll
my
do white
oh my
replacement.
God.
We'll do the
Okay.
great replacement.
Oh
We'll
my-
do it.
Okay.
Oh, I love that meme.
So do I.
Bro,
It's
white genocide now. Fucking mayo side. Let's do it. Genocide the mayos. Put them in camps.
Jesus. Yeah.
I just think it's very funny. Like the great replacement. Like, oh, like what? Every time a brown person immigrates to your country, a white person just fucking vaporizes? Like, is that how that works?
Yeah, and also, like, what about the fact that melanin is controlled by climate? Like, what? You think that we're gonna somehow culturally fix what melanin is in people's skin? Like, what is? I don't get it.
Race as a concept is just literally the amount of melanin concentration in your body.
Yeah.
So, like...
and that is purely dictated by where you live. It changes gradually over time. We adapt to it. So, I mean, even if, for say, 100 years, the entire world became mixed race, regardless of that, people would still inevitably have higher, like, lighter and darker skin, depending on where they live.
Yeah.
It's inevitable. There's always going to be white people, always going to be dark-skinned people, probably always going to be Asian people as well.
I'm pale as shit, so, like...
Yeah, same here. And so are my parents. Well, that's not true. My father he tans pretty well.
Yeah, I don't tan. At all, actually.
me
I don't
neither.
even burn either. I just don't tan.
No,
stay the
I
same
burn.
skin color.
I burn. I can't. If it's like 90 degrees out and it's like 15 minutes outside, I will burn.
Yeah.
It is trash. But yeah. The other thing that I don't understand is about the white replacement. It's like, again, what's the goal? First,
Yeah, who is it?
doing it?
Who is doing this?
Yeah.
Whose plan is this? Is this a Soros thing?
Yeah, why are they doing it? Is it because people are going to become less intelligent? I mean, we already know that the bell curve is kind of fixed at 100 as the center. I don't see how that's going to change.
Are we like, is
I
this
don't
like a Kalergi thing? Like, you
Yeah.
know, the Kalergi plan? That's some dope shit. I love Kalergi.
Yeah,
This
isn't he the
thing is
guy who
dope.
was like, we will endeavor to create a mixture that is Asian and Hispanic and black and white.
Yeah, but he
Something
said
like
it in a
that.
more racist way.
Yeah,
But yeah,
but it wasn't
he-
even
yeah.
his real quote. Like he
Yeah.
didn't even really say that.
Well,
Or no, he said it, but it was in a context which like was promoting humanism and the advancement of the human species.
oh yeah,
Like
it was more like a we'll all be better off once there's no race and we're all sort of like an amalgamation of all the races in one.
right. And when I read it, I thought he kind of was referring to more like a cultural race admixture, because again, you're never going to get full total colored admixture. That's never going to happen.
Oh yeah, I mean that was his thing. Was like not like a forced way of doing, just like a like a we'll be better off once the
Right.
most racial assimilation occurs.
Right.
And then he also was like pan-European. I mean, like once you get toward the middle of the thing, it's like he really wanted to re-enslave Africa to feed pan-Europe. So it's like kind of you lose me there, Kalergi. But the beginning is good.
Wait, what? He wanted to re-enslave Africa?
Yeah, he wanted to like basically recolonize Africa and like
Ugh.
yeah. I mean that's like he had a lot of books. Like he had a fuck ton. He was very published.
That is one of those things I never understand about right-wingers, is like they will cherry pick these quotes from people that like if they read their works more so, they'd probably like have better support or something. And yet they just don't. Like they took somebody who probably was like slightly along with their mindset and yet just ignored everything that was pertinent. I don't know.
Yeah, Kalergi has Japanese works too, which is interesting. I'd like to read them, but obviously I don't speak Japanese.
Right.
Because he grew up in Japan.
Hmm.
And then he moved to like Czechoslovakia and then France, and then he spent a lot of time in Germany. I don't know. He's a cool dude. Interesting. Very interesting guy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know too much about him. So the most I know is that Kalergi plan idea because of
Yeah.
my frequenting of politically incorrect on 4chan. But yeah, those two main points about like who it is and why they're doing it are things that people don't ever seem to answer.
Yeah.
And if they do it, it's tied to some race realism crap, which again is really not demonstrable. So I don't know.
I always like talking about race IQ with people because I like sort of doing I don't even have to like oh yeah, prove it. It's like, well, it's IQ testing is like the shittest metric of it. It's not an objective measure of intelligence
Right.
because the test is written by a human.
Right.
So it's like there's no objective measure of intelligence because it's also like, if you give someone like, I mean, linguistically, if you write a test, and I think the OG, like where the Africa thing comes in, where they're like, oh, look at the race spell curve. It's because the French went around their colonies and gave a French IQ test to a bunch of people who spoke French as a second language and didn't have any sort of primary, secondary education in French, but instead had sort of like whatever school system they had in their native language, and then, sort of learned French along the way. So it's like,
Right.
it's an interesting history. There's not really a good work about it. Like I want to recommend like a book or something you can read about it, but there's just not, like, because it's such like a known to be bullshit thing in sociology that like,
Right. Yeah, and going back to the white assimilation thing, I don't understand what these people kind of envision. Like I've kind of thought that maybe because of, again, that race realist type of thing. Do they think that there's going to be this massive elite that are just going to be controlling everyone? I mean, then I wonder.
I don't know.
You're going to eventually have biological founder effects, and you're going to have inbreeding necessarily from that. So I don't understand where that's going to go. And also, IQ exists in a fashion such that, the smartest person that could have ever lived could have been born 100,000 years ago, and we'd never know, because IQ can oftentimes manifest randomly.
Isn't it? It's like it's a bell curve, so it's always going to have the distribution be at the center.
Right, that's the idea
So
of a standard
everyone is
distribution.
smarter than they were 100 years ago. So like someone who's 100 IQ 100 years ago would probably be in the 80s now.
I don't know if
Like,
it's
it's
quite
just-
like that, because like Aristotle was easily one of the most brilliant people that ever lived, and he lived thousands
Yeah.
of years ago. So it's a bit
That's
more
not to
complex.
say. I mean, he'd
than
probably
that.
be at the top of the bell curve,
Right,
right?
right. But Einstein only had an IQ of 140.
Yeah, I mean, again, IQ isn't everything. Like,
Right. And yeah,
it's education level.
right. Somebody talked about like what's depressing about cultural assimilation. Do you have anything to say about that?
I said at the beginning of the stream, I don't give a fuck about culture. I don't care. I think I mean, most of the time when people are concerned about culture, it's a dog whistle for not wanting brown people in your country.
Right.
So like, when someone pisses and moans about culture, I don't give a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Because like, what culture are you talking about?
Right.
Are you talking about culture carries on? I mean, the Somalis who were refugees in Minnesota still practice certain Somali things.
Mm.
Yeah, they didn't get displaced into American culture. They just sort of practice their own culture there. I mean, there's German diaspora in Romania, and they still do sort of German things. Like, I mean, there's a great example of this. My parents both grew up in Wisconsin. There's a huge Yiddish diaspora, and Yiddish, if you don't know, is like 50% German, 25% Hebrew, 25% other languages. And my parents use words, and a lot of people I know from Wisconsin use words that like I say, and they're like, "What the fuck does that mean?" And sort of like I find out it's like Yiddish. It's just like it's a diaspora thing. So it's culture is stupid because it doesn't disappear. Like, culture's around.
Right.
Like, no one has worn lederhosen not for a fucking holiday in Bavaria in like 300 years.
Mm.
So like, yet they still do it every year. So I don't understand what the fucking issue is.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I guess what can be tragic about cultural disappearances is what they represent, and thus the disappearance of what they represent.
Yeah.
But like you said, I think you touched on the entire point. Culture will always remain in some form or another. It can't be abolished. It's like the idea of abolishing an idea. You can't get rid of it.
Yeah.
Ideas will forever live in the minds of men because that's what they are. They don't exist in any other physical sense. They are purely things which are communicated to each other. Yeah, I don't know.
The Arabs are taking our lederhosen.
God.
That's a big thing in Germany.
Mm-hmm.
That they're concerned about cultural destruction. I guess actually that is a good example. Hawaiian culture did sort of implode.
Yeah, that is true.
I mean, it's still around. Like you know, it's. I mean, again, that's the risk you run because it has been tokenized.
Right.
And I didn't want to be that guy at the luau that I went to, but I was like, does anyone else find it really weird that we're just like sitting here like tokenizing this sort of cultural practice? I mean, I'm not hating on it because the food was fucking good and the performance was incredible, and obviously they're all like, you know, they're all doing it as a way of presenting their culture in a way. But I just thought it was kind of interesting to me that it was sort of like, in one frame, it's like they're presenting their culture in a way that's digestible to us, and we can learn about their culture and their history through dance and all that type of shit, and their food and how they prepare it.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the other hand, we paid, you know, however much money to get in here and just sit here and watch this as entertainment, not as a learning experience, but as like a, you know, I want a dinner show. So.
Right. Lyndon Horn says here, culture does disappear. America doesn't have the same culture as it had when it was founded. There isn't any present-day Roman. My main...
Well, yeah, but it's just adapted.
Right.
It didn't disappear.
Right.
American culture has changed. Roman culture has just sort of become sort of like broadly, you know, Central European culture.
Mm-hmm. Stasis, like, as a concept, is purely psychological. It's not real. There is nothing which is not in some way changing to something else, and to say that anything has ever remained constant, ever, in the entirety of not even human civilization, but, like, being itself, is false. Ask any scientist, and they're going to say, you know, you measure a particle, it's not in the same place 1 second where it was 1 second ago. And that applies more broadly to the way people think and the way people relate. Things are always changing. Things don't disappear, but they circle around and they take new forms. There may not be present-day Romans, but we still live under the a very post-Roman society. the entire idea of certain law codes, which we still practice to this day, are outcomes of the distribution of the digest of Justinian to medieval monarchies. There may not be modern day Roman culture, but aspects of Roman culture are still very much alive and well.
Okay, that Jordan does bring up a good point. Yeah, there was like, we sort of completely ignored the whole.
I was
like,
going to mention that.
The complete destruction of
That was
certain cultures by force.
Yeah, that was systemic and that was intentional.
Yeah, so I mean, like, as a, yeah. Now there's not so much around that they. Yeah, and I suppose in a certain way they're still there. There's quite a few things, like especially Native American culture, like the languages are dying and the culture is dying because the United States government actively tried to destroy these cultures.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's unique in a sense that is, I think, largely a product of, I don't want to say early capitalist, but I mean, if you look at the Weberian take on what capitalism is, the Protestant work ethic, it's a consequence of that idea of highly rationalized, bureaucratic, systemic organizations asserting supremacy over society as a whole. And that's something entirely different. I mean, you would need to prove that there is some kind of organization like that destroying white culture, whatever that is. I don't even make the claim that white culture even exists. But if it does, you need to claim that there is some kind of systemic organization with the ability to mobilize resources to destroy that culture then, which people don't really seem to do.
Oh, fuck, you speak Mapuche? That's dope. You from... That's South America, right? That's like Chile, right?
Yeah. Could be like Peru as well, because that's where the Incas were.
Chile, Argentina, like Uruguay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not quite sure. That's dope.
Yeah.
Patagonia. Ah. I see.
That's Argentina, isn't it?
Yeah.
Thought so. Good to have you here. Thanks for showing up to the stream. I didn't know I had such a diverse audience.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Patagonia's fucking beautiful.
I've heard. Is that where they have like the reflective lakes and whatnot?
Yeah, the lakes are
Thought
like
so.
beautiful blue glaciers and shit like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the Alps of the southern hemisphere, essentially. It's beautiful.
What other controversial thing could we talk about for like the last 10 minutes here?
Furries.
Oof.
Classic.
Actually, that's a good point. I saw a post today on Twitter. It was about a guy complaining about other people complaining about how certain conventions, LGBTQ or otherwise, disallow certain aspects of culture related to sexuality, eroticism, and different kinks. And now this guy was for the banning of those sorts of things.
Right.
So people in the comments are responding saying, well, kinky things are not inherently sexual. And they were saying, people were making the claim, well, some people wearing a costume, which could be kinky, actually helps with anxiety and helps them relate.
Oh, okay. I see. I think I saw this.
But
yeah.
I gotta say, I gotta say this. If some people want to do that, if they want to have those kinds of things, they ought to make their own, organization, have their own conventions where they can do that. Everybody else, if they don't want it, they don't go. They go to their own convention.
I get that. But there is... I get that, but there is a distinction between...
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, dude. I don't want to reveal how much I know. I don't want to reveal my furry power level. Like, I know a lot about it, but there's, like, a difference between mersuiting and fursuiting. Fursuiting is, like, the shit you see where, like, people just go to conventions and they do shit. And then mersuiting is the kinky one where they fuck in the suits.
Stop!
Hey, bro, I'm trying to clarify. We're trying to educate here, all right?
Oh, man.
It's the same shit with weebs, bro. Like, come on.
Yeah, that is true. But, I mean, at the same time, there's a difference between even that and, sadomasochistic gear which people wear, which it's horrid. I mean, somebody made a very good point. When I go out in public, I elect to see certain things. I don't choose to see you in your personal attire. You want to go do that.
Yeah.
Go to a private personal space.
Yeah, go to a fucking convention. No, I'm totally for it. Go to a fucking convention. Like,
right.
Hell yeah.
And if I
don't
want to
give a
go
shit.
to a convention with certain interests which intersect with yours, I ought to be able to maintain a degree of security in
Decency.
The fact, yes.
Common
And
decency.
if you want an indecent, kind of convention or affair or something like that, you go do that. I won't.
Yeah.
But you do not have the right to infect what other people do with your niche interests.
I mean, that's like subcultures generally, though.
I know. It's kind
Fucking
of a shame.
weebs.
It is very much a shame, I think. Yeah.
I agree. I want to talk about what you talked about.
Which
A
thing?
couple nights ago in the group chat that we have. Because I left like right before you guys talked about it, but what you said was really fucking funny. I gotta find it.
Oh, which thing was it? That everything that's popular is conservative.
No.
Oh.
No, I mean that was pretty good. Fuck. What did you? Okay, no, you said in chat, and Taken quoted you. You said a lot of them waste their art on fox tits and dog dick, which is the funniest shit that I've ever heard.
Yeah, from the furry video.
That was a
put out years
funny
ago.
fucking. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Old school Mr. Amazing.
Let's leave dead horses lie. I mean, we can talk about the topic, but let's just not bring that up.
No,
Preferably.
old Mr. Amazing's dead.
Yes, long dead.
Long dead.
But I mean, I suppose, I think it is a very peculiar aspect of that culture, and that also goes for weeaboo culture as well, that there really is this sensual, erotic element to it, which, even at first face is very inextricably related to it.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, that's like, and I always relate it back to anime because it's another subculture that's pretty visible.
Right, and that's why I said with weebs as well, because
Yeah.
you are going to have your casuals. I mean, any interest will, but it's very peculiar. It's very odd, and I can't really think of anything like it which existed, before 100 years ago.
It is interesting.
Before
It's a
even
very
50
cultural
years
thing.
ago. No, I can't. I mean, the most I could think of is like I watched a video about, or no, it was a movie I'd seen about a prominent Jew in the media during World War II. I forget his name, but he did a lot of good for his people during the time. And
Yeah.
one of the issues was that he, I think, was gay, but he was kind of in denial about it, and so he had, gone to like a gay strip club of sorts, which was underground at the time, especially in countries that were under the sway of Hitler and conservatism more generally. So I suppose something like that could kind of be like a precursor, but even then, that is something that's purely erotic and that's, purely sensual. It's not something which is predicated and consequent to a broader non-erotic interest. And I don't know. I mean, I guess you could talk about pederasty or pederasty in ancient Greece, but even then, that was still something that was kind of purely erotic. It wasn't consequent to a broader framework, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It is kind of weird.
Furry culture is like a gateway to beasts or some kind of implication of it. I think that's part of the issue. Well, I can explain it this way. So like, I would say a damn near 0% of people want to actually fuck a dog. However, it's fuck. I don't know how to explain this to someone who isn't, because I know no one is receptive to like me talking about it.
I'd say based on what
It's
I've
like-
seen on Twitter, it provides a space for those types of people to come out of the
Well,
woodwork.
Definitely. It's sort of like if you have such an accepting community,
Right.
the fuckheads are going to come in and ruin it. Just
Right.
like this shit happens to any subculture. The
And-
fuckheads will come and ruin your fun.
Right.
But essentially, it's just like, an animal cannot consent. I mean, I mean, it's the same way. It's like saying that like being gay leads to pedestry.
Pedophilia.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but there is a push now to normalize it in some spaces.
That's a right wing hoax.
No, I've seen it on Twitter. I swear to God.
That's
MAPs.
a right wing hoax, bro. MAPs always fucking come out of the woodwork when this shit happens.
I've seen them.
I want them
there.
to get the help they need. I want them to get the help they need. I want them to, but I want them to get the help they need, but they really need to fuck off. Get off Twitter. They need to.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, yeah. I mean, if you don't understand the link between. Oh shit! I just hid someone else's message. God fucking. Okay. Well, actually, I would have hidden that message anyway. I don't understand the link between gay and pedophilia. Well, then, then you understand why I don't understand the sort of gateway between being a furry and bestiality. Yeah, but no one normalizes sex with it. Why am I defending furries again? I do this all the fucking time. I do this so much.
who knows?
Whatever. It's the same shit when people talk about like trans issues. Like I'm not trans, and I don't really have like a whole ton of friends who are trans. But like, whenever people talk about shit that like, you know,
Simon Williams, consumerism was earlier. We have drifted off. It's consumerism.
we've drifted
and
off.
you.
In
It's
I
and
was
you.
gonna say,
We're
now
talking about you right now, Simon.
we're talking about the
No.
most controversial shit we can think of, and
Yeah.
furries came up. So we're just thinking of the most controversial shit we can possibly think of. So if you wanna contribute and have us talk about something adversely controversial, then feel free to post it in chat. I am not a furry.
I am
no.
also not, staunchly not.
It's like, I mean, I'm not staunchly not one. I'm dating one. But like,
Okay, let's cut off that discussion there. Nip that. in
well,
the bud.
fuck. I mean, well, that's why I was defending. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Somebody asked why am I subscribed to this channel. I think, you know, issues of identity are very salient in the modern era, and I think I don't believe in hiding myself from any kind of discussion, and I think if you believe in doing so, that's your right to do so. But I believe in broader discussion than just music. That's if you like just music and you just want music discussion, that's boring. You can go to a music reviewer for that. That's not me.
If you're dating a furry, he doesn't wear a fursuit 24/7, guys.
Let's
It's not like
stop it.
bro, people are asking
Yeah, I
questions and
know.
I'm answering, bro.
You have opened the floodgates.
It's
but-
it's a hobby. I don't give a fuck. It's his hobby. I don't give a shit.
Fair.
It's like I play chess. It's just
Fair.
do you do furry for no, we don't. That's gross. I'm gonna
Normie
delete
asks,
that.
"Are you
We're
post-
deleting that question.
Are you posting
No.
the streams? Are you posting the streams anywhere?" Yes, they are.
I'm editing them. I'm so sorry. They're taking a while.
The raw streams are accessible in an unlisted manner in a playlist on this channel. If you go to the playlist tab, you will find the past two. This one will be added to that playlist after it's over.
Oh, eugenics is a good topic.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, I guess because it's like it depends on the type of eugenics, right? Because it's like, would it be morally justified to like, I mean, not like racial. I mean, like as far as like birth defects are concerned, like if you know your child is going to be born with like a palsy, should it be? I mean, even I guess this would make it more because now you can do that. Would it be if it was like state mandated?
Yeah, that's
like if it was like fucking. Like Iceland has that, where
That
like it's
is
like
wrong.
state mandated.
That is positively wrong. You know.
Yeah.
I think the broader issue is an aggregate, consequential eugenics, not a movement, but an eugenics outcome from people wanting to, edit the genes of their children. And I don't really know the ethics of that, because on the one hand, people should be able to make their free decisions. But on the other hand, it will only isolate those people that want to have those disabled children even more. And I have no idea. I really have absolutely no idea.
Yeah, CRISPR is
Right, and that's
CRISPR
what I'm
is-
getting at, CRISPR.
Yeah. Because it's like it's fucked up to me that you can patent sequences of the human genome.
Yeah, that is disgusting.
I mean, like CRISPR is cool, especially for things like making more resilient plants,
Right.
like survive, or like using CRISPR to kill mosquitoes. Like 'cause that's what Bill Gates' thing was doing. I don't know if it used CRISPR, but it was something similar where like they essentially modified the DNA of mosquitoes and re-released them, so like the female offspring would be infertile.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do play Fallout 4, and that's why it's my profile picture. I love Fallout 4. I love the Fallout series of games. I've played them all so much.
Yeah. I don't know. We may see it in our lifetimes. We may not. I don't know. It's definitely going to create a lot of class divides. That's absolutely certain. The real issue is going to come when the rich start making their children smarter than everybody else. if it'll even be legal. And the question is, if it's not, then intelligent people are going to come under suspicion because their parents may have committed some kind of crime to obtain gene editing. Highly intelligent people, geniuses especially, will come under suspicion, especially if they came from rich families then. Yeah, I don't know.
I asked Spider to
I imagine.
elaborate on what he asked earlier, because he asked he asked us about BreadTube and how he thinks it's hypocritical. I told him to elaborate, and I promised that if he elaborated that we'd
Oh yeah, I'll talk about BreadTube.
So he said it's hypocritical, and I said, elaborate. And he said ContraPoints, Philosophy Tube, and H Bomber Guy, for example, they're basically millionaires at this point. Are making a fuck ton of money. They usually present themselves as. I'll just start with the point, because then he'll elaborate further. But I mean, I think that's a stupid argument.
Yeah, me too.
Like, oh, you're advocating for the poor or better things. Well, yeah, it's interesting that you have money and use it.
Yeah, it's like that one picture.
It's a very like yet we should improve society somewhat. Yet you participate in a society. Interesting. It's
kind of fallacious. I mean, I get the one point that on the one hand they're really not doing more than public advocacy. I mean, my ultimate goal would be to enter into politics, but of course not everybody has that kind of goal.
I'm too cancelable for politics.
I mean, I don't know. I'd like to do it. It'd be cool.
That's gonna be interesting, actually. Implications of shit like social media, and like probably like 20 years, we're gonna see it hard.
Yeah, Sargon of Akkad just tried it and he failed miserably. So.
Oh my god, he got fucking boned.
Yeah, but I mean, it's because I think the party was already going under when he was enlisted. So. But yeah, I mean, I guess the one thing I don't like about BreadTubers in general, though, is they know their audience, and it's left-wingers, and they're appealing to it exceptionally well. And it's what I don't like about most modern media is that, because it exists inside a capitalist framework where you need to be making money. To do that, you need to attract a certain niche. You need to understand marketing, and you need to do things that are going to, speak to certain people in certain ways to get support, which will lead them to, donating to you. And, when you think about it, you're inevitably preaching to the choir then. So, not the greatest. Not the greatest. But what can you do about it?
The first YouTuber to run for president, Jody Saladino.
If a YouTuber ever runs for president...
I'm killing myself. I'm committing seppuku.
And maybe the first time I see, like, a YouTuber that's studying political science, every, like, lifestyle YouTuber I've seen is studying, like, computers or engineering or something. They're all, like, tech geeks. Like, it's fine that you can make an SQL server, but,
that's pretty...
Yeah, I know. It's it is what it is. It's needed. It's necessary.
Oh, this is a good question. Gillette ad with trans person thoughts. I'm indifferent to ads. I understand everything is trying to sell something. Yeah, I agree with that. It's like, I don't really give a fuck. And I think people are stupid for getting outraged about it. But then again, it's also like they obviously did it to like sell a product, which like I don't give a fuck about because I don't care about ads. But yeah, I mean,
I think companies trying to peddle certain cultural norms or ideas, conservative or liberal, is disgusting. It's out of line as far as I'm concerned. You exist to sell a product, not to sell me ideas. Okay?
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I can agree with that.
I'm not
in like the most supportive way possible, because
yeah,
I'm happy that they included that.
If anybody who is watching the ads is even moderately intelligent at all, they'd know that this ad was concocted specifically to appeal to its viewers in certain ways. And, I mean, that being said alone, it's worthy of ignorance. There's no reason to pay attention to it. And so I don't.
Yeah.
Outrage tactics, too. That's a good point. It is interesting when we discuss these kinds of things. The world we live in, somebody mentioned Brave New World earlier. The world we have come into in the 21st century is far more complex in its modes of distraction and even just general complexity than either Huxley or Orwell ever imagined. It's not as simple as just pleasure. It's not as simple as just government overreach. There's really a lot more going on.
Indubitably. Thoughts on cancel culture? I think it's stupid, but...
Yeah, same.
depends what you do, I guess. Like, I don't know, like the shit that got what's his name, the writer for Guardians of the Galaxy,
Oh yeah.
getting canceled for shit like that is like stupid. Like, I
I
mean, I think when Kevin Hart got canceled, he had a history of making super homophobic comments, and he apologized for them. I think if you apologize for them, you should get uncanceled. Honestly,
I hate the idea of canceled. Like, just I guess it's just a word, but like, what does it even mean? Like,
I say that shit all
your
the
life
time.
is like, yeah, I know I say it too,
Yeah,
but it's
that's
like
what I mean. Yeah, yeah.
it's such a
It
stupid
basically
way
just
to
means your
phrase
life
it.
is over.
Yeah, like, I don't know.
Yeah, Harvey Weinstein got mega canceled
Yeah, thank God.
for good reason.
Yeah.
Because cancel culture is good. Because Me Too was like that was good because we canceled a lot of people who should have been canceled like
Yeah.
20 years ago.
My ultimate dream is like cancel culture, but like applied to all the scumbag elites and like corporations in the government. That would be beautiful. If somebody could expose all of them and just get SJW Twitter and even conservative Twitter on them, ooh,
That'd be dope.
that would be beautiful. It'd be incredible.
Yeah, who is the one guy? Mel Gibson, somehow not canceled still. That's an interesting one.
Yeah. I mean, he was kind of canceled before for all the things he said. Like, his reputation was kind of ruined for a while. And it still is.
For like beating his wife and hating the
Yeah.
Jews.
Yeah. Making a whole
But I mean, he
movie
still
about
makes
it.
movies and they still do good. So like, I don't know,
Suppose.
it's all right. Chuck, come on, give
What?
us some more controversial shit. Speed round, speed round.
Yeah. Got 8 minutes, and then we are done.
You ever impulse bought something because of an ad and you didn't realize? Yeah, I
No.
mean, I don't think I've ever done that. Yeah,
Me neither.
dog or cat? Fuck, cats probably because they're very low maintenance. I can just feed my cat, and then sometimes it comes over here and sits on my desk, and then it goes and fucks off.
I don't
Does
care.
whatever.
I guess the same.
Where you guys stand the political compass? Down the middle, a little bit to the left.
About the same.
Is the Chinese government a net good or bad for the world? Mixed opinions, mixed views. Because I don't
Yeah.
know if Taiwan would be any better in their position with the amount of resources China has. I don't know. I think they've done a pretty good job of, doing what they do.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a fan
Immigration,
of China,
good.
but whatever.
Yeah, immigration, good. Will the DSA lead any successful social change? Definitely not.
It
DSA
could.
is shitty.
It could.
I think they're too fractured, though.
That's true. But I mean, unity always comes about eventually within those types of parties. I think.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
I mean,
Limits of growth. I saw you post something about that.
Yeah,
but
I don't know what
I'm
that is.
unfamiliar. I'm unfamiliar, so I'll read up on it and then we
Yeah,
can
me
talk about
too.
it later. Ben Shapiro, grifter.
Green New Deal. I think we need it. I don't know how we're gonna get it, but we need it.
Green New Deal, good. Borders, stupid. Border wall, even stupider. Immigration, good. Did Hitler died in Argentina? No.
Nah.
Hitler died in his bunker.
YouTube trending page. I mean, what's to
It's
say?
just curated. They should just change it to like curated. That's what they should
Yeah.
call it.
Because it damn well ain't trending, and everybody knows it.
You
It
get a
amazes me
tiny-
how YouTube is able to maintain bold-faced lies like that when they know everybody knows they're lying. I don't get
Yeah.
that.
If you had a tiny clone of Hitler, would you torture it? I mean, I'd probably
No.
just squish it. Like,
I mean, that Hitler didn't do anything because it is just a clone.
that's a good point, actually. Any worthwhile right-wing ideologies? No.
Syndicalism, like national syndicalism, has some merit.
National Bolshevism? That's still like left, though. It's still left.
I mean,
like-
but the nationalistic element is kind of right-wing.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Because national syndicalism is largely the precursor to fascism, but
Yeah.
without all the pseudo-religious stuff.
Affirmative action. I like the way the SAT is doing it, actually. Like the College Board, where they do the
Yeah.
adversity score, where they calculate like home value, crime rate.
We talked
Shit
about
like
that
that.
before.
Yeah, so it's not like it's not like just on race. It's like, oh, you grew up in a bad neighborhood, but you still did this good, so we're gonna give you a little boost. PragerU, very stupid.
Trash.
Grift kings, the grift kings, the kings of the grift.
What is a grift?
It's like grifting is like it's sort of like setting up a lemonade stand and you're telling them you're selling lemonade, but you're really just selling water with yellow food coloring in it.
Mm.
It's just like it's small. It's like swindling.
Mm. Somebody
Have a
asks,
right-leaning guest sometime.
I'd
we
like
don't-
to. I don't know any. If anybody would like to, like if anybody high profile would love to, I'd love to have a conversation with them. It has not happened. We'll see if it ever does.
Yeah, right libertarians can be okay, I guess. It just depends if they're like paleo-libertarians. Paleo-libertarians are shitters.
Actually, I could bring Big Joe on again for a debate. That'd be interesting. Because he
Yeah,
is.
but yeah, he's conservative, I guess.
Yeah, but even then, he's kind of like still anti-capitalist a little bit, but just enough that like.
well, he's like a Christian Democrat type
Yeah,
deal.
but even still, that's more left-leaning than republicanism.
I'm banning Taken from your channel. I'm kidding. Slavoj Žižek, kind of a dork, but I would give him I would give him a wedgie, but
Not bad. I like him.
yeah, he's okay.
Not the best.
What do you
Somebody
think,
asked, "Are we taking questions about the channel?" I guess. I mean, that's not.
Yeah, sure.
Why not? At this point,
How do you argue against someone that will not change ideologies no matter what and will believe evidence you provide is fake? I need that. Don't engage.
what you need is to convince them that their own experiences are misinterpreted, and you need to do it so they come to that conclusion. Look up Socratic dialectic, and you'll figure out how to do it. Socrates' method was getting people to come to his conclusions, but through them realizing it themselves. A very subtle way of convincing someone of things, but it works. I am 19. Somebody asked.
I'm 20. Let's see. Let's see. What do you think of Islam? It's fine, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's fine. There's some meh stuff in it, but there's some meh stuff in every religion.
Steven Crowder is a fucking loser.
Not a fan.
Holy shit! I thought you guys were like 27 or something. No.
I wish. No, I don't wish.
I don't wish.
I live with my parents yet.
What do you think about Israel? Thank you, Big Joe, for the controversial nature of this topic.
I fundamentally disagree with Zionism. I think
yeah.
I do not believe Israel should have had any European support. I mean, the whole idea of the Jews getting their own homeland is a Christian idea, B resulted in millions of human rights violations, kicking the Palestinians off land they'd been on for thousands of years, and C, I mean, as a result of B, inconsequential, or it doesn't really follow from the way history had been up until that point, because of some holy scriptures that the Jews say result in them having that land. Seriously? No thanks.
Israel's an apartheid state, and that's why I disagree with it. I don't give a fuck about Zionism, but it's run like an apartheid state, and I think that's fundamentally wrong.
Yeah. And also, I mean, I think the Palestinians are fundamentally, they deserve that land at this point. They are fighting a war for their own land, and the whole world is against them.
Yeah, I can agree with that a little bit. I don't know if they deserve the land. I think they should all fucking get along, but obviously it's not that simple, so...
That'll never
Who the fuck
happen.
knows?
It'll
Yeah.
never happen like that.
Oh, well. We can talk about that all night.
Yeah. I mean, there is, the kibbutz system of the Israelis was kind of interesting, but other than that, yeah.
What do you have against Steven Crowder, Ben Shapiro, and PragerU? Steven Crowder is an uneducated hack who talks a lot of shit about, shit he has no fucking idea what he's talking about. Like the Crusades or Hitler or whatever. It's a little bit shitty that, he passes himself off as an authority.
Yeah. I mean, I don't like them because they present ideas using keywords which fundamentally iterate a conservative right-wing viewpoint. They do not present things from an unbiased perspective.
But they sometimes pass it off like they are.
Yes.
Particularly PragerU is really bad at that.
Yes. And especially Crowder, when he's debating people in his videos, I don't know if he picks the most absurd people he can find, but certainly his videos are full of a lot of absurdity. And at the same time, he really does not understand how to really talk to somebody. He will be operating on a certain set of premises and assumptions that his opponent is not. And because they are working from two different perspectives, they cannot come to an agreement. And I'm pretty sure he's aware of this, but he does it anyway just to screw with the other person. And not only is it A, bad praxis for what he wants to be doing, what he should be doing. B, it is fundamentally creating a narrative which is not real. And C, it's just terrible as a human being to do that to other people. It's crap. It's just crap.
I don't listen to alternative rock.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess is Tame Impala alternative rock?
yeah, they're more like indie.
I was about to say Tame Impala and Rex Orange County. I listen to.
Ooh,
I
Rex
guess
Orange
that's-
County's good. I like him.
Yeah. Is polarization worse than the left or right?
Polarization is not real.
Yeah,
It's
not real.
concocted by internet spaces which want you to think it's real, and it's really not. I mean, CNN does it too, and so does Fox News. But if you go out and actually talk to people, you're going to find that they're a lot more center than any media outlet will let on. I don't believe it for a second.
Yeah. Who wins in a fist fight, Ben Shapiro, AOC? Well, AOC is like 5'11", isn't she? She's pretty tall, right? Ben Shapiro's like 2 feet tall.
Yeah, he's not that tall. 5'5", I
Yeah.
think? 5'6"?
I have no idea. He's short.
Yeah.
Just kind of hold his head as he like punches, like at the old school cartoons.
That's because they are conservative. I get what you're saying about Crowder. It's just a meme at this point. But I've kind of followed the same with PragerU stuff. Not sure what's bad with it. I mean,
Selectively putting forward information.
yes.
That,
Yeah.
like they selectively pick information and
Which-
purposefully ignore certain things. Like either more updated information is a big one.
Mhm.
Like sometimes there's more updated versions of the papers they talk about. Sometimes they just don't link sources, which is kind of a big no-no for me.
Mhm.
That's just more of a personal preference, I guess, because it's not like anyone actually looks at them but me. And certain things they pass off is like whenever Dinesh D'Souza talks, I just want to fucking kill myself, dude.
I don't pay attention to Dinesh D'Souza. He's a hack. I could not care less about him.
60s aesthetic is pretty dope. 70s is when I think 70s aesthetic, I just think smoking on like brown and orange couches. So like,
I think of like Paisleys and shit. I don't know. Old VHS tapes, 8-track. I don't know.
all mainstream conservatives are dog shit. That's a hard agree from me, Chief.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. There's certain elements of conservatism which are necessary. I mean, to maintain freedom of speech is a conservative position, because you're aiming to conserve freedom of speech. So you need that.
Yeah, you know how it be. I like a lot of right wingers are like, Ace of Dudes said I'm on the right and PragerU's ass. A lot of my friends also think PragerU's ass. So
Yeah. Not the greatest. Not the greatest.
PragerU is ass.
Somebody
So what is
said.
the conversation?
I don't know.
We're just fucking talking about, controversial shit.
At the moment.
Opinions on American police. There's a good book about this trademark. I feel like that's my catchphrase. It's like Rise of the Warrior Cop. It's like how we sort of stopped having police officers be protect and serve, and like sort of being a community member and like someone who will be there to help you to like almost feeling like an outside force. Like cops feel like an occupier sometimes with the way they act.
Right.
So it's like I think there needs to be more community policing, more let's put the cop who grew up in this neighborhood, let's put him on that beat.
Right. Yeah, I don't really care about police too much.
You follow the normalized left gun control ideology. I'm not for gun control. I mean, we're not like we're not liberals or well, I guess I'm a liberal. But like I think gun control is like it's a pretty like center left, center right thing. Like I don't think it's very common amongst leftists, like outside
like
of liberalism.
left people, yeah.
Like Marxists.
I mean, I don't identify with Marxism precisely, but I don't believe we should be taking away people's guns. No.
Right. Yeah, politics as a left and right system is a little bit stupid because things like national Bolshevism just don't fall.
Yeah. political categorizations in general are just an easy way to spoon feed people what are fundamentally status quo understanding of certain non-status quo ideas. And I hate to say people are uneducated, but it's like, just realize that there's more than what's on the compass, and that's all. That's as long as you know that, you're fine.
How to make conservative friends more open leftist ideas. What shit? What is it? The Socratic method.
Yeah.
Make them come to that conclusion on their own.
Mm-hmm. Get them to understand that their experiences lead to ideas more than the conclusions they've already drawn. That there are more things to be looked at.
Have I read the Bread book? Yes, I've read Kropotkin before.
I want to. I haven't.
The Neolib podcast is pretty good.
I've heard the last podcast on the left is pretty good.
I would avoid Chapo Trap House.
I've heard they're not bad.
I mean, you're lefter than I am.
No. What, are they like dirtbag left?
Yeah, they're dirtbag left. I'm banned from Chapo Trap House, the subreddit, because I called them LARPing teenagers who would rather participate in a LARPing Trotskyist revolution than actually help people in need, and I got banned for it. I tried my best.
Jacob says most left-wing podcasts, in my experience, are very strict and force things on me.
Yeah, totally.
It's tough because a left-wing mindset is in a certain way narcissistic, because it is counter to what is status quo. In order to be counter to status quo, you need to have a certain degree of self-import and thus narcissism. And along with that comes shoving your ideas down people's throats. It's tough. Joe Rogan's good. I like him.
I don't think he can be considered left wing.
Not explicitly. I mean, he's definitely not conservative.
I don't think he's conservative.
He's
or liberal. I think he's pretty apolitical, but he just I like his show because he just smoked a bunch of weed with Alex Jones, and that was fucking dope.
Yeah, he's like a modern day mystic, I think. An anti-mystic.
Yeah, listen to Alex Jones's podcast. Thoughts on count? Oh shit, you should check your Streamlabs. Apparently,
yes, Spritz, your donation did go through. Thanks, man. It's hard to understand things you're talking about, but it's fun to pretend I am. Hey, man, I'm sorry. This is an exercise for us in expressing things more simply. So,
Count Dankula, what a fucking loser that guy is. That's not all my thoughts on it. He's a loser.
I just don't care.
What's your GPA? Mine is a 3.04.
3.9. Hell yeah.
I've been in college longer than you.
Yeah, that's true, but you did pretty ass freshman year.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I drank a lot freshman year.
I mean, so did I.
Okay, that's true. You did, yeah.
Only one A minus last semester, boys.
I see you're smarter than I am, so fuck.
Yeah. Not when it came to drinking, though.
No, obviously not.
Yeah.
We really don't live in a society if you think about it.
We don't. Society lives in us.
Whoa.
Yeah.
It's deep, bro.
I know.
Gamers, sit down. And let's listen.
God. It do be that way. God.
Planet Earth is a fucking conspiracy.
If we had Wiley on here, now
that would be good. We should get Wiley on here next time. I love Wiley.
It would just be a rant the entire time.
We would just say boomers, and we would just let Wiley take over.
Oh my god.
Hey Wiley, what do you think about boomers? And then we could just go hang out and do something else.
Yeah.
We could come back, he's still on it.
Yeah. Oh my god. Try my hand at rap. I've thought about it. Maybe. Got the pimps in the crib, ma.
Nah, is this your usual conversation level? That's always something people ask when we talk.
Yeah, me too.
Is this your normal conversation level, or is
it's fun.
You can notice it when we're talking about something serious.
Yeah.
The vocabulary level goes up.
It's just fun. I like it.
But when we're talking casually, I throw in a lot more swear words, and I don't fucking talk with nearly as big of a brain as I put on when I'm talking about something serious, because it just doesn't. I don't give a fuck. It's not important when I'm just talking about my day. That I throw in a word like juxtaposition or whatever the fuck.
Counterintuitive.
Fucking
metaphysical. Deontological.
I don't really know any big words. They just kind of come to me when I'm speaking.
Disjunctive.
Schlatt? I don't talk to Schlatt enough. Schlatt doesn't talk to us enough.
He used
He's
to
got
talk
shit
to
to
us
do.
more. He's been, you know, he's been
He's
doing
got
his
big,
own
he's,
thing.
he's got big boy shit to do. He's got a job. He's got a school. He's streaming
Yeah.
a lot. Yeah, he's got shit to do. Eventually, we'll get him on probably.
Yeah. We'll see. I mean, I hate to say it this way, but like, we'll see how long, like, you know, he is at his peak as a streamer. Hopefully a
Yeah.
while, but like, you know, I mean, we can only all be at a peak for so long.
Yeah.
I hope it's as long as, you know, I don't wish him any will. I hate to, you know, come off any negative way, but, you know.
No, the X video is still there. Are you not in the United States, eh? Because it might not be available in like Germany or something. Anti-disestablishmentarianism thoughts.
It's just a meme, isn't it?
What anti-disestablishmentarianism? Isn't that fear of the church?
Oh, is it?
I think so.
I don't have a clue.
As in opposition to disestablishmentarianism, the Liberal Party's efforts to de-establish the Church of England as the official state Church of England. Damn, I'm kind of a disestablishmentarianist then.
So the guy talking about the X video, it's still here for me. I just looked up the video on an incognito tab, and it's there.
What do you mean by
Also-
weaponized nostalgia?
Mark Zuckerman, thank you very much. Appreciate it. For the 99 cents. 198 actually.
Stahl is the best music record, dude. Like, I don't give a fuck what Schlatt says. It's the best. It's
I don't
the fucking.
care.
It's the best one.
I have no opinion.
So fuck you, Schlatt. It's the best one. Eat my ass.
Honestly,
Say hi to me in Schlatt chord.
That's one thing I don't give a. I just don't care. Not that I don't care. I don't get it about Minecraft. Is like, who cares about music in the game? Like, yeah, it's good music, but like, why do I care? Why should I care? Like, what?
Yeah, no, I get it.
I just don't.
Yeah, we both listened to Igor. We both think it's
It's good. I liked it.
yeah, it's good. I think that the beginning and the end of the album are better than the middle.
Mm-hmm.
But
I have to say, I liked Earthquake. I think it's one of my favorite songs in the album, but it is kind of repetitive, you know.
yeah,
But it's not
It's a
bad.
good album.
It's good. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a good album.
The whole thing's good.
excuse me.
Good.
So what's on the itinerary for you tomorrow?
Me?
Yeah, what you doing tomorrow?
Getting up, working out, piano, editing. That's about it. Same as every other day. Reading. I'll finish that one book. Then I want to finish I Am Now by Martin Buber. I started reading that over winter break and I didn't finish that yet. After that, I'll probably start a new book.
What you gonna read next?
Not sure. I kind of want to get through more of Plato's dialogues. I haven't really read that many of them.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know.
probably pretty much the same. Get up, exercise,
Yeah.
figure it out.
If y'all want to see what I do in a day, I started posting daily videos like that on my second channel.
That shit was funny. It was a good video today.
Yeah. Today's video won't be as funny. Yeah, God. I get some good bands with my family sometimes, man. Oh, a hint in the next video. I talked about it throughout the stream. It's a catalog of musical trends throughout the past 20 years. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be really interesting. Very nostalgic and yet still very relevant to today as well. Have we seen Requiem for a Dream? Yeah, I have. It's good.
I haven't actually.
One of my favorite movies. Depressing, but it's good.
I haven't seen it.
You'd like it. It's about drugs.
Oh, cool. Wait, is that the one about the guy doing heroin?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I've seen pieces of it.
yeah. And his mother gets addicted to opiates.
Oh, okay, interesting. Depressing. I like it.
Yeah, very depressing.
Workout regimen, go. I run about 1.5 miles as quickly as I can,
Oh,
and then I do fucking 10 sets. No, sorry, other way around. 6 sets of 10 crunches, and then as many push-ups as I can do. 'Cause I have fucking weak ass arms. and I lift a couple of weights. Do some stretches, stuff like that. Some
I
crunches.
uh, I usually just jog at about a 6 on the treadmill. I don't know what that amounts to. It's like 2.2 miles in 30 minutes. That's
I was
what
gonna say
that's the first thing I do.
it's a 10-minute pace, I think.
Yeah. And then I do just some basic calisthenics, similar to crunches, but not crunches. It's just stuff to work on my abs, and then I do dips, and then I try to do push-ups. It's still very hard for me since I just started trying to do them, but I try, and that's pretty much it. It takes me about 50 minutes. I don't do that much.
Yeah, today I only did half a mile, but I fucking did like 6 miles an hour the entire time. So
Yeah,
I don't
like to run. I'll jog. Fuck running. Maybe once I get, I don't know, more, what do you call it, endurance.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get under a 10-minute pace for the mile right now, which I'm like getting there.
I want to be healthy, and that's about it. I have no other goal than that, and I guess build muscle, but
So yeah, we're trying to get swole. It's a summer of swole, bro.
honestly, I just want to, like, not have, a gut anymore. Like, I'm at a healthy, like, normal BMI, but, like, my body still looks, like, fat, which sucks.
Yeah. No, I don't bench. I don't have a
Nah,
bench press.
me
I
either.
work out at home.
Yeah, same. Also, I don't believe in buying equipment to make you healthy. Like, something about that just seems wrong. Like, if you can make yourself healthy using what you have, your own body, you should probably do that first.
I mean, I have a treadmill and a bike and shit like that. But
I mean, I have a treadmill, but it's like, that's different. You can run anywhere you want. Treadmill is just for convenience.
What do you think about Quentin Tarantino? I like him. He's a good director.
Yeah, he's good. He's not my favorite, though. I mean, like, Pulp Fiction's a good movie, but the dialogue's boring, I gotta say. Like,
Pulp Fiction is a cult classic for a reason.
Yeah.
It's an okay movie. It's not great, but like,
Inglourious Basterds is good, too.
yeah, Inglourious Basterds is a good movie.
But even then, there's something very off-kilter about the way he directs, and I feel it when I'm watching his movies. It's not bad, but it is distinct to him. It's very distinct to him.
Yeah, my parents buy exercise equipment and use it, so it's really nice because we get like nice new equipment and I get to use it because they use it. It's really fucking dope. Got that Peloton treadmill and Peloton bike. That shit's cash, guys. Highly recommend.
We just have a treadmill. Ooh, thoughts on
Royale
Blue Shades?
with cheese.
I like Blue Shades. He's a cool guy. I talk to him a little bit on Discord every now and then.
I have no idea who that is. So
He is a furry, but also a commentary guy. Nice guy.
is that the guy you were telling me subscribe to your channel?
Nah, different guy.
Different guy? Fuck.
He's also kind of a leftist, which is probably why they brought him up. He's cool.
I think I've heard of Blue Shades before. I don't know. When
How long
people
are we
say
gonna be
furry
streaming
YouTuber, I just think of right those like right you know what I'm talking about? Like the circle of like right wing furry YouTubers. That shit's so funny, dude.
This crap. It's just
It's funny as fuck.
No.
Shit is funny, bro.
No. I can't. Like the robot guy, just a robot. Oh my god. Jesus.
All those fucking like amazing atheism is unstoppable is just a racist Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh my god. Yeah, no.
Am I wrong? You can't prove me wrong, bro.
Oh my god. I can't stand those guys.
I can't stand them either. UMG demonetization. Well, I manage content for a couple of artists, and it's like I don't like claiming videos. I don't enjoy it, but like at the end of the day, someone's gonna get paid, and it's not gonna be them. It's going to be
here's
me.
a good one. What do you think of people defining themselves by their sexuality or political ideologies? I'm entirely
stupid,
against
bro.
it. I don't believe in it. I think and this is something I really wish LGBTQ people would understand. Not that I'm speaking down to them or anything, but
No, yeah, I get it. Go ahead.
sexuality and gender are post-Christian constructs, and that in that way they're post-Judeo-Christian constructs. The ideas that we have about gender and sexuality today did not exist anywhere in the world outside of the Middle East, around the time they, came into being. The Romans didn't think of sexuality that way, didn't think of gender that way, nor did the Greeks, nor did the ancient Indians, nor did Malaysians or the Chinese. It's just not real. Of course, there are elements of commonality, but like the idea that you're either gay or straight, and there's, or bisexual, that you're in one of these very distinct categories, that's not real. That is culturally created and concocted. It is fake. People are attracted to whoever they're attracted to. You don't need to put a label on yourself to define that. Really, you shouldn't feel isolated for being attracted to those people anyway. Even the idea of the Kinsey scale relates this. But even then, there's hetero-flexible, hetero-curious. It's like,
Yeah.
Shut up. You like who you like. That's it. Why do we have to have all these categories? For what?
Yeah, don't pigeonhole yourself into an identity. That's just dummy.
Yeah.
Just dummy stupid.
Come on. And you know what? In that, you got to be careful because somebody's going to say, but is not this an identity? And it's like, it can be if you want it to be. Just don't
Like
obsess over it.
I'm crypto gay. People don't fucking know unless I tell them. And then half the time they're like, oh, I always knew. No, you fucking didn't. Shut the fuck up.
I just don't talk about my sexuality. It's nobody's concern but mine.
Yeah, and politically, I don't know. I get along with conservatives just fine.
What
as
I
long as we don't talk
dislike
about politics.
Yeah. What I dislike is people that like the idea of a party line and that they need to subscribe to a certain status quo. It's like you need to look into the way things really are. And then you need to form your own ideas after that. And then if there's a group of people like you, associate with that group. Not, looking for a group name and then believing in ideas because of that group. That's ass backwards. Yeah. That's just stupid. Privilege.
It's real. I mean,
of course, what I dislike about the modern narrative about it, though, is how class privilege is ultimately left out. It's disgusting. I think it is positively disgusting. Most forms of racial privilege can be boiled down to class issues. Redlining. The idea that Hispanics may get a job less often because of their name. Yep. That's fundamentally because of a capitalist employment hierarchy, but people don't talk about it in that context. Why?
It's what's it called? Intersectional.
Yes, exactly.
It's an intersectional issue.
And in many ways, many things can be discussed, I think, from a capitalist perspective. And many of the issues.
Intersectionality.
Right. It will never. Mm-hmm. It will never be enough to fix racism. It will never be enough to fix sexism. If one day we all wake up and sexism and racism are fixed, and we still have people living in slums, we've done something wrong, fundamentally wrong, and I think that is part of the dialogue that does not seem to make its way into the modern media for whatever reason. And you know why it is? Because the modern media is run by capitalists, so of course they're not going to talk about it, because that would harm their own interests. So what can you do?
Music has always been political. That was something I saw earlier in chat.
Mm-hmm.
Music has always been political since the beginning of time.
Yep.
I don't have any problem with capitalism, really. I guess it depends on the type and the place, and it's a meme question.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, it's very broad.
Yeah. I have
issues. A problem with
issues.
capitalism, I suppose, but I don't really have a problem with
Right. I have the issue. My main issue is just that the idea of capitalism, not capitalism in itself, because the idea of capitalism, the idea of the free market, are both fundamentally neoliberal ideas. And so I have a real issue with neoliberalism and the neoliberal take on capitalism. Keynesian capitalism arguably worked a lot more effectively. So it's not capitalism, which is fundamentally the issue, but how we look at it.
I like Hayek better, but...
No, fuck Hayek.
Okay. Understandable.
Mises too. No, thank you.
I'm a Freiberg man, dude.
Right, and then the idea of the economic system. It's like, well, what do you mean by the economic system? Do you mean is that
free exchange? Are we talking about free exchange? Free exchange is dope.
Right, and I agree with that. or do we
Yeah.
talk about private property rights? They can be good. The extent to which people have them can be bad. I mean, 3,000 years from now, is all property going to be owned? Like all land? Could be.
I'm a Georgist.
You know? And what do we do about that? If people can't have access to land to start private enterprises, what are they going to do?
Dude, you sound like a Georgist. I love it.
Yeah,
love Geor- I
I've
love
read some of
Georgist
George's works,
civilizing.
and I do have some
I
tendencies.
fuck with the land value tax. I fuck with it.
Oh, so do I, but they tried it and it didn't really do too much. It didn't generate enough money, unfortunately. Like the idea that all property is fundamentally the government's is a Jeffersonian idea. It's also you see it in Benjamin Franklin's works too. Unfortunately, that got lost with Jackson. It sucks.
We're both down a little bit to the left in the political spectrum.
Yeah.
What Audible books do you
Oh,
recommend?
this is one thing before we go off on that tangent. One of the things I really, really hate about this ties back into Watson and Crowder and other right-wing talkers with their all their talking points, not all of them, many of them, surround not only the soy boy narrative, but the idea that leftism is predicated on a lack of masculinity, a lack of power. And I want to say a few things regarding that. One, I go to a elite institution. I graduated at the top of my class in high school. I don't mean to brag, but it's like this narrative that leftism in males is related to weakness is fundamentally wrong. It's not real. And it really annoys me that the idea of the soy boy as being part of any kind of leftism, especially association with Antifa too. I don't get it. It's just there's no real demonstration other than anything that's anecdotal, and you can find so many people to which those ideas really just don't apply. Yeah. Anyway, I wanted to just mention that because it's something that really annoys me. Yo.
What's up, boys? I'm back.
Shit.
Moin moin.
I didn't realize you left.
Oh yeah, no, I messed because you said I'm gonna talk a little bit about that, and I'm like, oh,
Oh.
this is my opportunity, and I fucking ran to pee.
Oh, right.
I pee a lot. I'm sorry. I drink a lot of water. I'm a hydro homie.
Some books. You want to talk about some books?
Books are cool, dude.
Yeah, they are. Hell yeah, they are.
I don't really have anything specific. Like, I have a couple of books that I'm reading right now. But,
Same.
I mean, I don't have a list. Like, I should probably do that. Like, I don't have a list of books that like, because every time I say one, I'm like, oh fuck, there's the other one that I like too.
Mm-hmm.
So I should probably like figure that one out. We'll get back to you on that one.
I have a small list. Iliad and the Odyssey, must reads. Not the most interesting, but they're good. You gotta read them, just because they're important to Western civilization. Plato's Republic, pretty much any of Plato's dialogues, gotta read them. I've read Crito. So far. I want to read Euthyphro next. All of them are pretty. Oh, Symposium I've read too. Symposium's really good. Highly recommend that one. A few of Aristotle's basic works are very important. I think particularly his Politics is important. Everything else is kind of like either you like it and you want to get into philosophy more, or you don't. The Meditations is a good read. The Tao Te Ching is a good read. Let's see. I've read some of Aquinas's Summa Theologica. It's kind of dry if you like really concise. Not concise, if you like systemic and analytic literature, it's good. Some of the Federalist Papers are good to read if you want to understand more about the government. I mean, it's good to read about different legal constructs from other governments to understand about how we get ours. What is property from Proudhon gives you some French context. Marx's ideas about property give you a more Hegelian context of that. And so the political and economic manuscripts are good. German ideology is good. Nietzsche's on truth and lie in an extra moral sense is good. Daybreak, Birth of Tragedy. Freud's brief book on dreams is good. On Dreams, that's literally what it's called. It's not the interpretation, that's far longer. I didn't read that. Outline of Psychoanalysis is good. Society and Its Discontents, very, very good.
We're getting so many fucking questions now.
How to Win Friends and Influence People, that's good. The Magic of Thinking Big, I'm reading that one right now, that's good. Martin Buber's I Am Now, I'm reading that right now as well, it's also really good. Particularly if you struggle with socializing with people, like if you fall into the trap of being hateful towards what other people like, and thinking egotistically, it helps you understand why you shouldn't do that. That's why I read it, and it really has helped me. Highly underrated in that respect as a self-help book.
I want to answer this guy's question real quick because he has a social studies exam tomorrow, and I gotta be a tutor real quick. Hayek was both of those things. He was more a liberal approach, laissez-faire, competition and capitalism. Keynes was, or Keynes. How do you say his name? Keynes. Keynes? Is it Keynes?
It's Keynes.
Okay. Keynes, because I only ever read the name. I don't ever talk about it. So
It's
I don't know how to
Keynes.
fucking pronounce it. Okay, Keynes. Keynes was more interventionist, so it's like Keynes wanted to intervene in the market to maintain healthy competition. Hayek was very boom and bust theory, like, oh, it's a natural that economies fail, like they boom and bust. And then Keynes was all about preventing the bust from happening. Yeah.
Mr. Mann asks, which should somebody start with first, Ulysses, Gravity's Rainbow, or Infinite Jest? Infinite Jest is a work of postmodern literature, so I'd say do that one last. Ulysses, I don't know if you mean Alfred Tennyson's poem or like the Odyssey, because I know because if you mean the Odyssey, start with the Odyssey, of course. It's like, one of the founding works of Western literature. Of course, you got to start with the Odyssey. I mean, and if you're going to do that, really start with the Iliad, because that's why I said the Iliad and the Odyssey. The Iliad comes first. Both are good. Both are good. I've never heard of Gravity's Rainbow, though. Oh, James Joyce novel. I'm not familiar with Joyce. I know he wrote Finnegan's Wake, and it's like one of the most complex works of the 20th century. But, yeah. I'm still getting through all the classics, man.
Yeah, I'm not a classics reader. I read contemporary literature. Sorry, everybody.
I think you gotta read everything, man. You gotta do all of it.
Not the last community. I don't care about that. It's that your ideas don't work in the world. Yeah, bro. Like conservatism works. Like, come on, dude.
What I think you need to remember about Marx's ideas are this. He was first a philosopher. He was trained as a philosopher. He taught himself economics. Now, this was the economics of Ricardo, which were built on those of Adam Smith. And, they both subscribed to the labor theory of value. So he built some of his theories on false assumptions. That's the biggest issue.
Yeah.
And so you need to recontextualize some of the things he's saying. And thus, the second important point is that he did not, in his earlier works, he did not propose change. He was a theorist of what was wrong, a theorist of the issues in capitalism. And it is these points that are important today. They are not productive ideas. They are the ideas which lead to productive ideas. Like most leftist thinkers, Marx was miserable at trying to figure out what to actually do.
Yeah.
So it's now on us to get there in some way. I think we can all agree it's bad for children to be living in slums. Marx gives us a reason why that's happening, and he gives us a jumping off point for how to fix it.
Yeah, generally, children living in slums is bad.
Right.
Children working in factories is bad.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's I don't know what you want to occur. Like, I'm not saying that the world should be Marxist because I'm not a fucking Marxist, but like,
Right.
you can't possibly deny the role of capitalism in upholding certain hierarchies that are inherently toxic. Like, I mean, you said it yourself. Your whole country is poor. Well, that's because the majority of the wealth in South American countries is concentrated very highly at the top,
Right.
with government contracts going out through nepotism and corruption. It's not like it's, the wealth can't trickle down because they give all the contracts to their buddies and they employ union boys that they're friends with and shit like that. It's not like a it's not like a problem with the leftist system. It's just a corruption issue.
Mm-hmm.
And monetary
Sketch-
policy,
hold on.
but I don't want to talk about monetary policy. I'd rather fucking die.
Sketch Screen asks, did you say The Odyssey is a good read? Yeah, I did. I highly recommend it.
It's okay.
Whatever.
I don't like classics. I don't.
Classics are
so.
important. You cannot begin to understand the
don't like
modern
that.
world unless you understand where we came from.
Yeah, but that shit gay. So.
No.
That shit mad gay.
No.
It's not that good. I didn't like it that much.
It's important. It's important. It helps you broaden your perspective.
That's true.
It introduces you to cultural norms and forms which, don't largely exist anymore. And to help you see why they don't exist.
I don't like. Yeah, I didn't enjoy reading it.
It puts things in perspective.
Yeah, I do agree with Big Joe there. We'll wrap up in about 20 minutes. Is the biggest meme in this. We just talk until we get bored and then we go to bed.
I think it's 3 minutes, and we actually are going to be done because I got to edit
Yes.
the video.
Yes. He actually has to go edit a video.
Yeah, I do, and I'm really.
Economic globalization, very good. Americanization isn't real. Venezuela shouldn't have pegged their currency to their oil. There's a whole monetary policy failing there. I don't know anything about Julius Evola.
He was a traditionalist, very mystical, and practiced certain occult ideologies.
Interesting.
He was in the camp of
yeah.
the perennialists with Aldous Huxley and Rene Guénon.
Oh.
They believed that there was a fundamental original theology given to us by God.
I've heard of him before. Okay, because I've the name Julius Evola sounds so familiar.
Yeah, he believes that we are existing in the Kali Yuga. It's an Indian Buddhist concept.
Yeah.
It's also Hindu, I think. I think it's primarily
Did I say
Hindu,
this?
actually.
On stream or off stream, that the only really Eastern literature I've read is like Confucius.
Yeah, you said it on stream.
Yeah. I can't remember. I don't know. We talked for like an hour before the stream started because your power kept going out, but
Yeah. Trash.
what do you guys think about communism? Meh.
Yeah.
Nah.
Too late to discuss right now.
Yep.
Some other time.
Do you think the early foundation of economic globalization was started with the Great Depression and World War II had a big part to play in the early economic globalization? Yes. The interwar period was a big thing for economic globalization because we all sort of realized that if we're really interconnected, then it goes against everyone's interest to start declaring war on each other. So it's sort of like, if we're all sort of interconnected, then we don't want to fucking kill each other all the time because we rely on each other so much.
Right.
So the concept of autarky is stupid because it leads to warfare.
Unless you have a big enough country.
Yeah, I suppose
We
that's true.
said that last time.
Actually, I have one more thicker one that someone said earlier.
Mike Sterner. Nice.
Let me scroll down and find it real quick, just because here's somewhere. And then I'll read it, and then we'll be done. Oh, yeah. Okay, so news media talks more about LGBTQ and transgender problems more than the bigger problems, which are people who are living off $1 a day, because we can do something about the oppression in LGBT communities in the first world. That's pretty much it. I through advocacy, I cannot directly assist someone who's dying of typhus in a jungle somewhere. However, I can effectively support gay and
You guys are
transgender rights in the United States and other places
You
on
know,
my own fruition.
And to me, I disagree with that a little bit because I fundamentally see the issues as, capitalist issues.
Yeah.
I think more needs
But
to be
you-
done. I think a
Yeah,
lot
but
more
you
needs to be
can't
done.
deny the role in globalized capitalism has had in bringing so many people out of it's become a meme at this point that neoliberal supports sweatshops, and it's like on a very simple level, yes, sweatshops are better than dirt farming. Therefore, I support sweatshops in third world nations like that.
I think the day, I said this before, the day everybody gets access to food and water is the day I will take on some more neoliberal tendencies. If that ever happens. But, I mean, in order for that to happen, you need non-neoliberal tendencies,
Yeah.
So, I mean, it, it's like, what are you gonna do? What can you do? You ever work at a food bank?
Actually, yes. I
So
did. I
you,
worked
like,
at a soup kitchen in
seen-
Orlando.
Yeah, you've seen how much food they throw out.
Oh God, yeah.
That is a product of neoliberalism. And
I wouldn't say it's a direct product of neoliberalism as a whole. I would say it's more a product of, overproduction,
yeah,
which is just something that occurs. I mean, I think it's gross how much food we waste. I know France has a thing where, like, France, again, one of the most neoliberal nations on the planet, they have a thing where, like, bakeries have to turn over food that they don't have, that they can't sell anymore,
I don't know why we
over to
don't do
homeless
that.
shelters at the end of the day.
I don't-
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a logistics issue. It's just like, we have enough food to feed every person on the planet right
Yep.
now. However, it's a logistics issue. We just can't get the food there before it spoils. We can't protect the convoys that would bring fresh water to these places. We can't do all these things. It's a logistics issue.
Shit. All right, it's been 3 minutes. I gotta go.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
You've
It's
been a
been
great crowd.
stream. May do another one on Friday. May not. We shall see. If you have any questions, post them to the link. Fuck. Cat. Is it .me? I think it's .me.
cat.me/Mr. Amazing.
Fuck. Copy that and put it into your search bar.
Here, I got you guys. Don't worry, everybody. I got you. There you go, boys. Ask your
Thanks.
questions, and then we'll put them on the bullet points, and we can talk about them more in depth.
Yes.
Um,
Goodbye and good night.
good night.